Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the North Bend City Council meeting for September 16th, 2025. Can the clerk please call roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Mark Jocelyn.
Present.
Councilmember Brendan Elwood. Councilmember Alan Godhelp.
Present.
Councilmember Heather Cullen.
Present.
Councilmember Christina Rustick.
Here.
Councilmember Susan Torgerson.
Here.
Councilmember Errol Tremolata.
Here.
All are present, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Would you be kind enough to lead us in the flag salute?
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty for all.
Okay, well, I love an almost full house, so welcome and thank you for being here. And not sure how many people are online, but I'm certainly grateful for their participation as well. So let's see. Before we move on to consent agenda, I would like to announce that the executive session scheduled for the end of tonight's agenda has been moved up on the agenda and will take place right after item 13, public hearing, ordinance increasing stormwater rates. Before that, I'd like to take a moment and go off a little bit off script and welcome Mark Ricos up with me in a minute, just a minute. But I want to talk a little bit about Mr. Ricos. Let me flip over here, pardon me. I wanted to inform everybody that tonight will be Deputy City Administrator / Work Director Mark Ricos' last meeting. Mark has been with the city since 2014, and during his tenure, his team has accomplished many significant projects for the city, including the following: wrapping up ULID number 6, formation and design of ULID number 7, securing intertie agreement with Salal, construction of 2 interties with Salal, construction of 3 RABs throughout the city, planning, design, and construction of the wastewater treatment plant improvements, design and construction of the downtown plaza, many street and sidewalk improvement projects, design and construction of Torgerson Park and E.J. Roberts Park improvements, significant improvements in water distribution systems losses, replacement of several miles of leaking water mains, oversight of many development projects, including commercial and residential, and adjustments to rates / GFCs to ensure financial sustainability. Mark, can you meet me in the front of the podium right now? That'd be great. I think I have something for, there it is. And Bree, we're going to get a nice tight shot, Bree, eventually. I'm not kidding, actually. All right, thank you very much. You let Bree be the photographer here. Here. Okay. There might be some in the background. Are you folks okay with that? Okay, good. I'd like to read this to everybody. Mark, congratulations on showing your hand. I've known you a long time. Appreciate you. Mark Ricos, Deputy City Administrator, Public Works Director, in recognition of his exceptional service and dedication to the citizens and staff of the City of North Bend 2014 to 2025. All right. Thank you. Okay, it's great.
Thanks, Mary. It's nice plaque there. Appreciate it. 11 and a half years here as your Public Works Director. It went by real fast, but looking back, I think I attended nearly 500 work studies, city council meetings, and executive sessions. It's a daytime commitment, but it's also an evening commitment, not just for me, but for everybody here tonight. When I arrived in 2014, our population was around 5,500 people, and now it's close to 9,000. There's been a lot of positive change in North Bend. The change is happening now, but it has happened during my entire time here. Our elected officials have been, continue to be, interested in building high-quality infrastructure to improve public safety for the residents and to enhance their quality of lives. Our Public Works Department, with elected official support, solved key obstacles such as the water standoff between the city and Salal, and the necessary massive upgrades that happened at the wastewater treatment plant. Now we are building a $10 million sewer system on the opposite side of the river. This is all high quality infrastructure. I'm really proud of our accomplishments. This includes the wastewater treatment plant expansion, all of the new infrastructure that people can see, such as building new sidewalks, repairing cracked sidewalks, building new roundabouts, the new roads, planting of street trees, and new parks. But also the infrastructure that most people do not see. That's where the magic is underground. This includes all the underground infrastructure such as water mains, sewer pipes, drainage vaults, and sewer lift stations. What I'm often responsible for is how is all the infrastructure paid for and who shall pay for it? Sometimes it's the developer directly, sometimes it's the developer indirectly, sometimes it's the ratepayers, sometimes we are able to secure grants. Once we are able to fund it, then it has to be planned and designed correctly and built correctly. I can say that my public works team, whether it was engineering design, project management, design review, inspections, and or construction, played a key role in the positive transformation of this city. I want to say thank you to my public works team and the great staff that I've been surrounded by. I'm leaving you with an excellent public works team in engineering, operations, and maintenance. They are great people at every level of this department. I also want to say thank you to our current city council members, former city council members, former mayors, and our current mayor for leading the city in a positive direction and for allowing me to play a huge role in the infrastructure throughout the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I'm going to allow this moment for council to, oh, there's a hand up already. We're going to go around. Susan first, and we'll just be random about it. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mark. So this is the last agenda item. It says it's horse manure cleanup ordinance, and it's Mark's last agenda presentation. So I just want you to know, I think it's horse manure that you're leaving us. It's hard to put it in words just how much Mark Regos, Deputy City Administrator, Public Works Director, has meant to the city of North Bend. Mark has been more than just a leader. He's been a teammate, a mentor, and a friend to so many of us. Mark's fingerprints are on every community important project. I can't even list them all, but there's the Meadowbrook Sewer you led. Mayor Miller just listed a bunch of them. There's the roundabouts. There's too many to name. So he's also taken us on the SPU and Chester Morris Water Reservoir and Hobo Springs watershed tours, making sure we truly understand where our water comes from and why it matters. And that's a super cool tour if you've ever had an opportunity to go on that. One of Mark's most special gifts is his ability to make complicated engineering projects understandable, whether he's explaining snowpack levels, water system operations, infrastructure, anything, or stormwater response logistics. Mark makes everyone feel informed and included. He's also been a tireless advocate for our community. He's backed me up when I went this last February to Olympia, and I spoke to some state representatives and state senators when I was making a case for Cedar Falls Way. He's a true team player. He understands the minute details of our truck town situation, how we don't have any parking for our semis. He's designed a better truck system and talked to people on how to get that done. He's also talked to Washington State Department of Transportation about making Highway 18 issues less intrusive. He's a master of all things. Mark's leadership during winter storms is something I'll always admire. His clear, detailed updates, complete with priority routes, material usage, and EOC status. He kept us calm and confident that the city was in good hands. He even made sure we knew the sewer and water systems were running and they weren't frozen. Worked with Bree to keep the residents updated. And then he worked with Dan to make sure our trash service was not having any interruptions. He's everywhere, and he provides this information to council, which allows us to be able to communicate to community members when they ask us questions. But what truly makes Mark special is his heart. He's the one who organized the staff collection to buy a beautiful bouquet of flowers for Councilmember Sarah Perry after her husband passed away. He's always the first to celebrate someone else's success, giving credit where it's due. And of course, he's the guy behind the annual chili cook-off that everybody has here, bringing us together for fun and memorable way. At the picnic, he's the one making burgers. And at one of the employee lunches, Mark knew more about all the employees when we played that one game where you go around and you check off the box and who has what, their birthday or their favorite, whatever. Mark, we're going to miss you and your detailed emails, your quick replies. When you send him an email, he always responds. your calm presence, and your steady leadership. But most of all, we're going to miss you. You made a lasting difference here, and we're better for you being here as both a city and as individuals because of the time we've had with you. Thank you, Mark, for everything you've been doing. But by the way, Heather and I still want to golf with you, so this isn't goodbye. It's just see you later, right, Heather?
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say?
I was gonna save mine for the end, but it's not as well written out as Susan's, but Mark, you're gonna be missed. And I want to thank you for your time and dedication to the city of North Bend. So mine's small and simple, but also just so you know, you've educated me so much about how cities work, all the things that we need. Snow plowing, keeping our roads from getting potholes, and you've just educated me on every single level, and I'm going to miss you immensely.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Heather. Ellen first and then. Thank you, Ellen.
Well, Mark, end of a long road. 11 and a half years working with you. A lot of things. If it wasn't for you, I don't think we would have got the Solal interchange taken care of. The amount of work, the amount of educating everybody. I've worked with you for 11 and a half years. It's going to be, as they say, hopefully not goodbye. We talk a lot about basketball and football, so hopefully we'll continue to communicate that way. One of the other times that people aren't talking about is you're running the EOC or supporting. And I have a memory of you when we were doing Snowmageddon, and a gentleman that sat here and worked probably 7/24 to try to ensure that this city got its roads plowed, found partners that would help us where we were overwhelmed. I think there's a lot of things like that I think we're going to miss and not understand what you've done for us. You've been the man who we may not have always agreed on things, but we were able to discuss them. You educated me on things. You educated why you were in support of something and why you weren't in support of something. That's a unique talent, and it was always in a positive manner. Again, I think we talked about Highway 18, the amount of work you've done in order to help get Highway 18 done. In fact, I think you were very instrumental when they started talking about the configuration of it. And everybody I talked to that was involved and included at Eastside Fire and Rescue have nothing but good things to say. And hopefully those people will be able to get to say that at some point to you. But I don't know if people here will understand the amount of effort and what we're losing by you walking out this door. We're losing somebody who has infinite knowledge of a lot of different things and has kept our public works department together. And you're walking away from a lot of friends here, but we wish you the best and gonna miss you. Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you, Ellen. And
Yeah, I just want to reinforce everything that's been said. Your base of knowledge is not only is wide and deep. I was shallow. I knew a little bit about a lot of things, which made me a little dangerous. But in your case, I wouldn't want to take you on either front. And if you didn't understand something, you'd go after it. Now, I wanted to speak before Alan because I wanted to get the Snowmageddon piece in before he did. It just speaks to your commitment, not just to the people who work here, but to the city, its interest, keeping people safe, keeping streets clean, and doing everything you possibly were capable of doing to the benefit of the people who are lucky enough to live in this beautiful spot. And yes, we are seriously in your debt. Highway 18 has been mentioned, your vision about a tunnel under Highway 18, which that may in the future still come to pass, but that also speaks to you're being a visionary and looking down the road and anticipating what was coming up. So you will be missed. It's been a pleasure working with you. If and when we get another heavy piece of equipment, have a naming contest, I'm going to put in the Mark Regos as a suggestion.
Thanks.
anybody else missed? Hey, Christina. That was funny. Thank you, Mark. I surely appreciate all the time you spent with me as I was coming onto the council and
And as myself having a background in infrastructure and whatnot, the countless questions that you answered with much patience. And I think Councilmember Torgerson mentioned, just how thorough and quick you were to respond to any questions. And, it's greatly appreciated. And I really hope that whatever your next step is, that you enjoy it and you know that we are here for you if you need anything. So thank you.
And Errol.
Yeah, Mark, just want to thank you for diving in so deep with me. You know how much infrastructure matters to me and how I've said it a million times for my short term up here. I love kind of getting in the weeds with you. You have an immense background that I think we were super fortunate to have for so long. And I think one thing that wasn't mentioned, that anybody who's ever written an email to council or to Public Works, I think one thing that is highlighted in my eyes from you is that you were just a consummate professional. The responses to the public were not one or two lines. They were very thorough about why are we doing this here, even technical to the extent maybe the public wouldn't understand it, but it meant that you took time to answer the question that was being asked. And you frequently CC council or let us know, hey, I've got this, and took it upon yourself to make sure those answers got to the public. And I think that just shows how great of a leader you were for the department and how much of a pro that you really are. And so be cheering for you for your next chapter. Let me know if I can help. But yeah, excited to see what your next step.
Thank you, Errol. Anybody else? Brendan? Okay. Not that I'm pushing you. I'm not. I'm anticipating.
Admiring all the commentary. And I agree and concur with all of it. Mark, I think we've worked together now going on, this would have been our full complete 10th year together, which is amazing. Not to just repeat everything that was said, but just to highlight that everything that my colleagues have called out have been instrumental in your contribution to not only your job, but your staff, your team, and the community. And so when I think about a leader in a holistic way, it's getting the job done, but doing it right. You've always been open for discussion, dialogue, debate. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't agree, but that process has always been very professional, very polite, and there's always been that level of acumen that gets us through to the problems that we need to solve so that we're all aware of everything. And that communication is a level of expertise that a good leader needs to have. But the area that I'd like to expand on from my colleagues is the team that you're leaving behind. Succession planning, to me, is one of the most important things that any leader, any organization should do, and oftentimes it's overlooked. Your team is incredible. They respect you. They respect the job that they're doing. There hasn't been one moment in time that I haven't seen passion or momentum just off the table. Everything's go, let's get it done. In fact, for many of you that don't get the benefit of joining our committees, where we do a lot of the decision-making, the debating before we come here and vote on something, the Public Works Committee packet is usually about 2 to 3 inches thick. It's a lot of stuff that this team is constantly working through on a daily basis. It's incredible. In fact, so much so that a former council member, Garcia, dubbed the committee the Get Her Done Committee because there's just so much going on. But the team that you're leaving behind is an excellent one. In fact, we're going to be confirming Tom here in a little bit. But that to me is what I would like to say to you from your leadership, not only working with us, working through opposition, stepping up to the plate, leading by example, having excellent communication, and setting your team up for success when you're ready to move on. So like everybody else here, of course, if you need anything from me, please reach out. I have tremendous respect for you and your professional integrity, and I know you will do very well in your next chapter. So thank you very much for all that you've given this community, Mark.
Thank you, Brendan. I'll just add, because I know we have a large agenda, Mark, I've known you an awfully long time. For the public to know, if they don't know this already, I was city photographer for a number of years, and Mark was in front of me as for headshots. And that was the first time I had an opportunity to talk to him. And I asked one question, what do you do? And he just rattled on. The problem was that I couldn't get him to just be quiet for the camera. And that's on me. So this man is a chatterbox. He's very knowledgeable, very social, very helpful, all about making friendships along the way. It's clear that he has done that at this table and beyond. You will be missed. Beyond that, I know that your future is going to be bright, whatever you choose to do, no matter what. So grateful to know you. Okay. All right, now we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Believe it or not, we have six items on our consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I? Okay, it's motion by Mr. Gottelf and seconded by Mr. Brennan Elwood. All in favor? Any opposed? It is unanimous and we move on. Before we move on to audience participation, as indicated on tonight's agenda, if you're attending remotely and would like to submit public comment, please submit your written comments by in-person drop-off, mail, fax, or email to clerks@northbenoit.gov by 5 p.m. on the day of the meeting. We are no longer taking public comments for those attending remotely via Zoom unless they have reached out to our city clerk in advance of the meeting to request accommodation. Get ready, it's a little bit more long-winded of me, so I apologize, but here we go. We will now move on to audience participation. Since we will no longer be taking public comment after every item on the main agenda, now would be the time to come forward to the podium on agenda items or any other item you wish to speak about. If you are here to speak about with regard to AB 25-095, ordinance amending taxes, rates, and fees schedule regarding school impact fees, or AB 25-96, ordinance increasing stormwater rates or amending taxes, rates, and fees schedule, please hold your comments until the public hearing is later in the meeting. If you have requested accommodation with the city clerk and wish to speak through the virtual platform, please raise your hand and we will reach out to you after who do we take your comments? Okay, please remember to state your name, your address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Anybody interested? There's Deb. So strange that you'd be here.
I know, I've missed you guys.
Yeah, no, it's great.
So Deborah Landers, 14615 438th Avenue Southeast. And I'm here representing North Bend Art and Industry, which is a big surprise. So a couple of things. I wanted to highlight our free programs because as we have settled into our new location, they are expanding at a huge rate. So we're finding adults and teens are kind of exploding. Those programs are exploding. We're eager to start the younger meetups. All of these are free things that we do at least once a week. In particular, the teen meetup is something that we're really proud of because these are teens that don't necessarily know each other. And I've seen our creative coordinator go out to the car and actually bring a shy teen inside and introduce her and make her feel at home with kids that they don't know. So again, it's really been a powerful thing to watch these teens create together and communicate together with kids that they don't necessarily know before this event. We see the same thing in the maker meetups. And now, am I out? Now we have club meetups also every other week. So again, lots of things happening that's very exciting. One of the things that we're also proud of is our community art supply swap. And that's coming up on September the 27th. It's Saturday. People donate the art supplies and equipment that they're not using. And then on Saturday, individuals come and they take those items that were donated for free. There's no cost to anyone. And again, it lets them experiment with art projects and art forms that they wouldn't necessarily have the funds or the ability to get all the materials for. So I'm going to pass these out. I would suggest you guys come and see how many people show up for this and the amazing donations that we get for our community to take advantage of. I've also left a lot of flyers at the back of the room, which are our free programs. I'd love for you to really see this because your funding, your human services grant from the city of North Bend helps us to provide those services. So it's vital to us and we so appreciate it. And we're just seeing things explode. So starting with, I'll pass this out in a moment. The other thing that I wanted to highlight is some collaborative things that we're doing with the North Bend Library. The first thing that's coming up is an upcycle book art on October 10th. This too is a free workshop. I have no idea what it is, but apparently it's a thing and apparently I'm facilitating it. So please come. Please come 5 o'clock, October 10th, and do upcycle book art. And with that, I'm going to cut it off. Thank you so much.
Delightful. Thank you very much. Anybody else willing to come on up? Great to see you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good evening, council. My name is Caleb Hopes. I'm 18 years old. I live in Wilderness Rim, 42307 Southeast 168th Court. Today, I want to talk about our e-bike ordinances because it seems like there's a lot of confusion, and I don't know. It doesn't really seem that there's a lot of ordinances anywhere else besides Issaquah. That's the farthest I've seen an ordinance go. So I just want to clear up. I don't know. There just wasn't any talk of wattages. There wasn't any talk of how fast these bike go. Nothing of that sort. There's also a lot of talk about electrical motorcycles versus e-mountain bikes. I just wanted to bring these images for you guys. This would be, I'll pick that up. This would be an electrical sports motorcycle, officer. And then second one, this would be e-motorcycle or e-mountain bike. All right. Sweet. Some of the points that I wanted to go over, I heard that there were at least 12 calls a month, 911 calls a month, and that is pretty concerning. I would assume that most of these calls are coming from parents seeing younger kids on these bikes, probably destroying property, doing things they're not supposed to be doing. And I feel like that there is a little bit of a difference between someone like myself, who's 18 years old and has a driver's license, versus a 13-year-old child going 40 miles an hour on a public road. I don't know how well these children know the laws of the road, so I can definitely concur with that. But with me going through driver's ed, having my driver's license since I was 16 years old, I'm pretty confident that I know the road rules for normal biking, normal e-biking. Another point that I wanted to bring up was how I ride on these trails. My bike, this e-mountain bike, only goes about 35 miles an hour. So when I'm going 15 miles an hour on our local trails, I've never once had someone yell at me, get mad at me. I've never had a confrontation, a bad confrontation. It's always been, where'd you get that bike? And things like that. And the reason why I'm even arguing this in the first place is because I don't want to have to worry about a hobby that I do myself. I don't want to have to worry about other hobbies that these people are enjoying, adults that are enjoying, and people that are being respectful and responsible to our roadways and to our trails. I think it's just a common sense thing. Obviously, if you guys are getting 911 calls, go to the 911 calls. There's no reason not to respond to the 911 calls. I'm not saying that, but I just think the ordinances should be lifted up a little bit. I don't want to have to worry about saving money on gas to go visit my grandma. You know what I mean? It's just when it comes down to certain things, if I'm following the laws of the roadway, I don't understand why it's really a problem, especially if I'm not on a bike that's going over 35 miles an hour. I don't really think that's too fast. So other than that, last point I wanted to make was there recently was a officer that approached a man named Jake George. He is 35 and lives in Issaquah, Washington. He was riding e-bikes with his children. My time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Caleb. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Oh, come on up, please. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and City Council. My name is Tyler Litzenberger. I'm at 11411 Northeast 124th Street in Kirkland. We are the owner of a property adjacent to the street vacation on the agenda here for item number 14 on Alm Way. And I'm the president of the company, the development company. We also built a building recently out on Tanner Road. That's a really nice looking building that we're really proud of. But I just wanted to introduce myself as an advocate for the street vacation. Alm Way is currently, you'll hear more about it obviously later tonight, but that street is a dead end street, very rarely traveled, and we're providing all of the same utility and access opportunities for the city, and we're paying the city for it too. So obviously I'm an advocate for the street vacation. We're making improvements out there in terms of utility construction and with contributions to the LID for all the utilities and some frontage improvements. So I'm happy to answer any questions as they come up later, but just wanted to kind of put a face with a project and let you know that we're advocates for it. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. Anybody else? Nope. Anybody online here?
No one online tonight.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move on to, let's see, announcements, presentations, and appointments, which leads me into a proclamation that we've never done before. It's quite new. Let me begin. Whereas access to mobility is a fundamental part of health, safety, and community connection, allowing Snoqualmie Valley residents to reach education and employment opportunities, medical services, shopping, recreation, and visit friends and family, and is one of the state's 6 transportation system policy goals, including investing public dollars to improve the movement of people throughout King County. And whereas the average cost of owning a car was more than $12,000 per year in 2024, many people cannot afford the cost of a car, and nearly a third of the people residing in the U.S. do not have a driver's license, either because of their age or a condition that does not allow them to drive. And whereas public transportation and a strong network of sidewalks and bike paths aren't available in every community, making it much more difficult to get around, visit family and friends, and take care of everyday tasks for those who cannot do or do not drive. And whereas improvements in walking and bike paths can improve alternate forms of mobility in communities across King County and our state, and public driver education initiatives can help educate drivers to have patience and understanding for those traveling by means other than a vehicle. And whereas transportation represents the largest source of greenhouse gas emissions in the United States, and in order to meet our state's greenhouse gas emission reduction goals, we must reduce emissions in our transportation sector. And whereas going a week without driving is a great way to understand how we can improve our current transportation system to better meet the needs of Snoqualmie Valley residents and improve and enhance transportation options such as transit, light rail, biking, and walking pathways as key strategies in our decarbonization efforts. Now, therefore, I, Mary Miller, Mayor, do hereby proclaim September 29th through October 5th, 2025 as Week Without Driving. And I encourage all community members to use public transportation, walk, ride a bike, whatever that looks like to you, or use ride-sharing options to include carpooling for your everyday travel needs. Thank you, everybody. Okay, let's see, I believe Lynn McCarthy, Snoqualmie Valley Mobility Coordinator, is here to accept the proclamation.
I am. I don't know how to do that.
I come to you. Don't run and fall. No injuries tonight. Yes. And I'm going to bring this up to you, and you can stay and talk if you'd like. Or
sure. Okay. I'll just introduce myself. I'm Lynn McCarthy, Snoqualmie Valley Mobility Coalition Coordinator with HopeLink. And if you don't know about HopeLink, we're a very large nonprofit in Washington whose mission is to help people who are working to exit poverty. And so we connect people with all kinds of social services, which is wonderful work. The problem is that people need a way to get to those services: employment, education, housing, food, and especially in rural areas like where we live, transportation is limited for those folks. So a third of the United States are non-drivers. And it's a great thought experiment for most of us to consider what that's like to not use a car. But for a lot of people, especially rural residents, that's a reality. And so we're working along with North Bend, and I just came from Carnation and Snoqualmie. So the Valley cities are really well supporting what we are doing. So thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Yeah, and I would love this to get to hope.
Well, we'll make that happen.
Yeah, that would be great.
I'll just shake your hand. This is normal of me. Okay. Hug her. Sorry. There we go. Thank you. Great. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Item number 8, appointment to Planning Commission, AB 25-094. Planning Commission position number 4 became vacant with the resignation of Olivia Moe on July 8th, 2025. The vacancy was advertised on July 15th, 2025. Myself, City Administrator Emery, Community and Economic Developer Director Henderson, and Planning Manager McCarty interviewed 4 candidates from a large pool of applications received, and I'm recommending the appointment of Chris Coulon to position number 4. Is Chris here? There you are. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Come on up. Would you like to say a little bit about yourself to the public and our council?
Oh, well, good evening. My name is Chris Coulon. I'm at 45035 Southeast Tanner Road. Originally moved to North Bend in 2003. Lived here till about 2006 when I graduated and I took off internationally, left the country for a while. Back here since 2013, living on Tanner Road. Looking forward to this. I have a background in the military, working at the federal level of government for a while, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to learn more about local government and how I can get more involved.
Excellent. Thank you, John. I'm going to come up with a little, where did it go? This little beauty. And I keep telling everybody I'm not going to stick it on you. So we don't want to bloodletting. Oh, no, I'll come to you. And is your father's name John?
It is.
Okay, I know him.
Mayor?
And his wife, so it's great to see.
Mayor,
Okay.
did you want to have the council members make a motion?
Oh, that'd be nice. I get so excited to do this. I just caught again. Okay, let's do it. Thank you, Mark. Okay, who's gonna do it's Chris. Let's see, who's doing the motion?
Councilmember
Lost my
Coughlin.
place. Mark, is it?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Lost my place.
Yes, Your Honor. I move to approve Agenda Bill 25094, confirming the appointment of Chris Coulon to Planning Commission position number 4, term expiring on May 18th, 2026.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Mr. Pro Tem here and seconded by Mr. Brennan Elwood. Let's see, anybody like to say anything?
Well, I just want to acknowledge people who, volunteer to serve in these positions for our city are the greatest unsung heroes that I'm aware of, because it's an incredible body of work. The Planning Commission in particular take on tasks. I hope you have some clue what you're getting in for. I expect that you do, or you wouldn't be here. But absent people who are willing to step up and fill these roles, our jobs would be much more difficult. The quality of life here would suffer, and it's really hard to elucidate and bring forward and share with the public the level of effort, time, commitment that you're signing up for. And so I just want to express my deep and sincere thanks.
Thank you. Brennan, would you like to add anything?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, thank you for stepping up, and couldn't agree more with Councilmember Jocelyn, especially the part I hope you know what you signed up for. A lot of big packets, a lot of time spent going into the weeds, into the minutia, working with a fine staff, helping lead the way so that you can figure out how we can visualize our future self, right? What are the problems we need to solve? So migrating from the federal government to the state and local government, if you're going to pick a committee to help with that progress, the Planning Commission is that committee. You get knee deep, you get in the weeds. I mean, myself, I went through Planning Commission before I came on council, and it really empowered me with the knowledge that, okay, I think I can do this. And so when I get into a situation where I need to ask questions or probe deeply or make a decision, I feel a lot more informed because of that education and that experience. So I think it's the right path. I also look forward to your contributions, especially being at the federal government level and seeing how things work here at the local level, what sort of insight and wisdom you can bring into that dynamic as you work with a great team and with a great staff. So thank you very much for stepping up, and I hope it's everything that you expect it to be.
Thank you, Brendan. Let's get you in. How's that?
How about other people?
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go, Susan.
Well, Chris, I want to extend a warm welcome to you as you join the Planning Commission. I had the privilege of serving on this commission for 5 years, and I can honestly say it was one of the most rewarding ways to get involved in shaping the future of our city. There's a lot of reading, but the work is both fascinating and impactful. You'll have a front row seat to help policy decisions and developing regulations shape North Bend's character and help and its growth. And you'll get to learn about the Growth Management Act and Missing Middle, all kinds of fun stuff. I was especially pleased in reading about your extensive background in strategic planning, stakeholder coordination, and public engagement, and your service as a Marine. My father was also a Marine, so Semper Fi. I believe your leadership experience, combined with your passion for preserving North Bend's small town character while supporting responsible growth, will be a great asset to the commission. So I thank you for stepping up to serve your community, and I'm super glad that you're on board.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, Harold.
Yeah, Chris, thank you for your service. I appreciate that. I also I was quite impressed with your background. We share a current employer, and so your work with white papers, I'm sure, as much as mine, will do you well at Planning Commission, but also excited to see your technical skills help unpack some very complicated issues that we're going to have ahead of us with the future of this town and complexity. So I think you'll be a huge asset and look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Okay, well, Chris, welcome aboard. I think everybody at this table has been on Planning Commission before, if I'm correct. I hope I am. And it's a lot of work, but it's so needed, so necessary, and everybody appreciates it. Whether you think it or not, it's very much appreciated and needed. Okay, so I'm going to come on up. Bree, if you want to get a picture of us, that'd be great.
Mayor, can you do we have a motion on the floor, and so we have a first and a second, so we can call for the vote.
My goodness. Okay. I'm happy to do that. Motion before you is to approve AB 25-094, confirming the appointment of Chris Cool, Commission, position number 4, term expiring May 18th, 2026. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much. Now is the time I can actually move away from this dais to come to you, because that's obviously what I want to do the most of, and I apologize again. I love the people I get to meet. Okay, moving on to item number 9, presentation to King County Library. Mary Comstock, who's on her way up, is the King County Library Regional Manager, and she's here tonight to provide a presentation on the library's new campaign and happenings at the North Bend Library. Mary, will you please come to the podium? You are.
Already came on up.
And
Thank
we're
you, Mary
excited to
Ellen.
see you. Thanks for
Thank
being here
you.
once
I'm
again.
glad to be here.
Great.
My name's Mary Comstock, and I'm a regional manager with the King County Library System, tonight representing your North Bend Library. Joining me is our Librarian and Information Services Manager, John Kim. Before we get started, I wanted to show you a little video, and then we're going to talk about the library. Just about 30 seconds. Thank you, Erin.
One moment.
No problem. I can always talk too. So while they're getting started, I will say that if you've been to the North Bend Library, you know it's not terribly quiet. And that's because we like to say that exploration and making connections and curiosity is not quiet. And we're almost there.
Sure. Apologies, we're experiencing technical difficulties.
No worries. We will go right ahead into the presentation. Do we want to just move to the PowerPoint? That'd be awesome. So I'm here tonight to talk with you about your North Bend Library. We've had a lot going on. And as you know, the North Bend Library is part of the King County Library System, which encompasses 50 libraries across the county. The North Bend Library being just one, but I will say, certainly in this room, our favorite of the 50 across. And the next slide, please, Erin. This is a link to the video should you want to watch it later. So please feel free to take a picture of that, and we'll go to the next slide. So across the county, we have had from the 2024 year, 677,000 cardholders across the county. That includes 90,000 student and teacher e-cards, which allows our students here in the Riverview School District access to all of our resources and databases electronically in school. So while we want them to come to the library, they don't have to. We also have had 11.5 million checkouts across the county, and that's physical items, 10.9 digital, which makes us second in the country, but third in the world for digital checkouts. So this library system is very well supported, and I want to thank all of you for that, most particularly our elected officials and the city staff who support us. Next slide, please, Erin. So what about just the North Bend Library? So from July of 2024 to this August, so a 12-month period, we've had 72,000, almost, well, I like to round up, 72.5 thousand visitors to our library walking through our doors. We have 4,000 active cardholders just in 2025 and 1,044 new patron accounts. We've checked out almost, I like to round, 154,000 physical items and 160 of the digital checkouts. And we've had 314, I can do the math too, almost 315,000 total checkouts. Erin, next slide, please. We just concluded our summer reading program, which some of you may have been a part of, or your children. There was an adult book bingo. This is focusing on our kids. So we had 465 children register over those 3 months. And of those children, 188 completed it. And we've broken those down by which ages. 67 newborn to age 5. I like to think of the babies doing their thing, learning early literacy skills, because that's what we're all about, all the way up to whatever age someone is. All the curious creatures in our libraries, we want to see them. Next slide, please, Erin. So we've been focusing in on statistics. That's fun, but we have particular programs at the library, and Jong's going to be talking about those.
Hi, everyone. Some of the programs that we've had at the North Bend Library include Aging Well, which takes place every month and has been meeting for more than 16 years. We have a technical drop-in assistance every week. We have a First Tuesday book group. We've partnered with HopeLink Mobility to come and table at the library. We have Rainbow Social Club with Lambert House, Snow Valley Youth Council in partnership with Skyview Metro Parks, Story Times at Skyview Park, and Story Times in the library. Study Zone, which is tutoring in person in the library. Talk Time, which is English practice, conversation. We also have Chess Club, Dungeons and Dragons, Lego Playtime. And some of the highlights include that the Snow Valley Youth Council is a leadership opportunity for teens to serve their community and decide, what kind of programs they would like to work on and bring to the community. We have a world language print collection now that includes Spanish and many more online to serve our growing North Bend community. We have databases like Mango Languages and Rosetta Stone, which are free. We have Ancestry Library Edition, streaming music and movies, Discovery Passes, the free museum passes, all free with your library card. And I also wanted to bring your attention to that this year we're doing an annual Valley Read, which we do every year. But this year it will focus on a book called Snoqualmie Valley, which is by a group of people, including the Snoqualmie Indian Tribe, Snoqualmie Valley Museum, Falls City Historical Museum, Tolt Historical Society at Carnation, Duval Historical Society, and local community members. And members of these groups will be coming together at the North Bend Library on Tuesday, September 30th at 6 p.m. to talk about their process in putting this book together. So we welcome everyone. Thank you.
So as you can see, we really want to be embedded in this community. We want to do programs that speak to this community, and that means folks who are new arrivals and folks who've been here a long time, kids, teens, adults. We want to make sure that we're making those connections with the community and that they're making them with each other. No, it's not always quiet, but that's okay. And we invite you all to come into the library, and we're looking forward to seeing you there. And I have a last slide, Erin, just in case there are any questions. I know we might be a little bit over time, but if there is time, I can take questions. Or guess what? Questions get asked at the library all the time, and you know where to find us. So if there are none, I will say thank you to you all.
Any questions for Mary? Anybody? No?
Okay,
Thank
we
you
will
both.
see you at the library. Oh, Mayor Miller, did you have a question? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'll see you there, literally.
Yes, you will.
My favorite places.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. We appreciate the time tonight.
Thank you. Okay, item number 10 is presentation, Best Starts for Kids. There you are, Jessica Tolinar Cafferty and Dr. Jamalia Jones are here tonight to present Best Starts for Kids. Welcome, and thank you very much.
Sure. Fix this real quick. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you, Mayor Miller and council members for allowing us the opportunity to present today on Best Starts for Kids. And so my name is Jamalia Jones. I am one of the co-leads for Best Starts for Kids.
And I'm Jessica Tolinar Cafferty. I'm the other co-lead for Best Starts for Kids.
Thank you. So Best Starts for Kids is a voter approved, well, first of all, let me back up. I want to acknowledge our colleague, Carrie Wade, who's here, community partner, community engagement manager, who so helps us and coordinates all of these presentations that we're able to do in community. So thank you, Carrie. But Best Starts for Kids is a voter approved levy, and the first iteration of Best Starts for Kids was first approved in 2015. And so we are in the second iteration of Best Starts for Kids, and we are midpoint through this iteration of the levy. But Best Starts for Kids is a community-driven initiative to support every baby born and child raised in King County to be happy, healthy, safe, and thriving. And in 2024, Best Starts for Kids has partnered with about 365 community-based organizations operating 609 programs directly to serve over 160,000 individuals and reach over 500,000 children, young people, families, and providers and community members across King County.
And so when we think about that sort of philosophy and goal of every young person and their family being healthy, happy, safe, and thriving, we really work towards that through 4 big pillars. The first is promotion. So we're really thinking about things like protective factors, or the things that we know result in positive outcomes for babies and young people and their families. We want to really figure out how we can support increasing those in partnership with community. The second is prevention. So when we think about the things that cause harm or that cause adverse outcomes, how can we prevent those things from coming to pass? The third is early intervention. And so that's really thinking about when there is a need identified, making sure that families have access to the supports and resources that they need in the way that they need them as quickly as possible. And then the last one is systems and policy change. And so we know that for this to be sustainable long-term, for us to have these thriving communities, for all of our children to be happy, healthy, safe, and thriving, that we'll really need to think about this being sustainably implemented at a much larger scale, even than at King County.
Thank you. And so Best Starts for Kids, which again, I'll just highlight is we like to think of as a whole child, whole person approach, also addressing the lifespan of a young person. So from prenatal to 24, but also working with families and communities because we don't extract the young people or babies or children from their families. So Best Starts for Kids is investing more than $880 million from 2022 to 2027. This iteration of the levy or initiative ends in December 2027. So nothing changed in terms of our investment areas from the first iteration of the initiative, except that with this iteration, there was the addition of childcare and capital projects. And childcare really came from feedback from communities regarding the need to have more access and resources for children. And then really, Best Starts for Kids, we really do like to highlight that is one of the, well, we think it's the best example of how communities and government can work together to create positive and not just change with children, but also generational impact for kids and families.
So we wanted to provide a little bit of a snapshot of what our investment areas look like. We're guided by an implementation plan that was informed deeply by community across King County and then passed by the King County Council. And this is sort of our guidance around where we invest our dollars over this 6-year levy. The first 4 items on here, the childcare, capital projects, technical assistance and capacity building, and then our youth and family homelessness prevention work, all come off the top of the levy. And then the sort of core 4 at the bottom, 50% of our funding remaining after that off the top goes towards prenatal to 5 services. So this is things like maternal child health, home visiting, parent and community caregiver supports. 37% goes to sustaining that gain. So we know it's really critical to make those early investments based on brain development, but we also know it's really important to continue sustaining that level of investment for young people to stay well. The third one is communities of opportunity, which we're going to go into in a little bit more detail. We've got some really incredible work happening in North Bend through communities of opportunity. And then the last is data and evaluation. And we think this is a really critical piece to highlight, that data and evaluation are really an important part of how we know what we're doing is working, and how we partner with community-based organizations to do the same.
And we always like to just kind of highlight where we are with the initiative to point. So far, we've awarded a total of $315 million midway through the levy, a total of 872 awards. And just to highlight the total number of applications in terms of all of our throughout our strategies is over 2,700. So it just kind of shows that there is a great need in our communities. You know, it's there's just a huge need. And so we just want to note that also the number of unique applicants is from June 2025. And so total amount requested is 1.4 billion. So again, it just really highlights the need that there is.
So we're going to share a little bit specifically about the work that's happening in North Bend, but wanted to give you a couple statistics. Thus far, we've awarded $9.1 million to organizations intending to serve folks, residents of the city of North Bend in the second round of the levy. That's across 14 community partners and across 32 individual awards that range all the way from smaller awards around $5,000 to about $1 million. Total in District 3, Councilmember Perry's district, we have awarded $32.2 million. And that's for organizations that didn't report serving all of the county. We really wanted to pull folks who were focused specifically on this region.
And so we always like to highlight a quote from one of the partner organizations. But in 2024, Best Start served at least 729 people in the zip code of 98045. And just highlighting a few of the partners doing work in the city of North Bend is Empower Youth Network, Lambert House, Mara, and At Work.
So we wanted to share a little bit about our communities of opportunity work in the area as well. Communities of opportunity is one of our investment areas at Best Starts for Kids, and it's a really unique public-private partnership between private philanthropy, local government, and then deep engagement with local community in a number of different areas. If you can go to the next slide, we can highlight the North Bend work. So most critical to know is that Communities of Opportunity is funding the Snoqualmie Valley Human Services Coalition. We want to make sure folks know that this is a resource that exists. It's being led by a supportive community for all, and it's really an opportunity for a number of organizations to come together who are doing human services work in the Snoqualmie Valley to share resources, provide case management work, build connections, make referrals. Really an incredible body of sort of collective work that's happening there. And we've highlighted a few of the North Bend specific organizations here for your awareness as well.
And this is just highlighting, we have a copy here with us, our year in review it's just highlights from 2024. It's our Best Starts for Kids annual report, has a lot of qualitative data And it has highlights a lot of sort of stories and quotes from our partners, but also taking a look at our various strategies, which there's 32 strategies, I should say, and some of the themes that connect our strategies or through lines, which is well-being, which is meeting families' needs, and a number of other themes. This is also available on our website as well.
And in English and in Spanish. Really awesome opportunity too to see some beautiful pictures of families participating in different Best Starts programming. Okay, we have a couple more wonky slides, if you'll amuse us. So one of the things we like to think about too is monitoring our work to understand if we're really providing services where we would hope to. And Best Starts really likes to think about directing funds where they're most needed. And we recognize there are disparate needs across the county, right? Even in sort of higher income areas, there might be pockets of really specific need. So a couple of the ways that we sort of measure are by looking both at population density of young people aged 0 to 24 across King County. It's darker where there's higher levels of population density of young folks. And then also child opportunity levels. And this is a national measure. It's made up of something like 16 different indicators. Don't quote me on that number. That is really looking at where young people have more or less access to different resources and opportunities across a number of different areas. And so we would usually kind of overlay those maps and hope to see our services reflect kind of what we see there in terms of greater populations of young people and probably lower levels of opportunity according to this index. Next slide, please. So this is our 2024 map of where Best Start serves. These are specifically the zip codes of participants who reported their zip code. Not all of our participants do, so there's some limits to the data. But what you'll see is while we have some areas to improve in, we do feel like we are generally sort of meeting that overlap of those two maps. Something we continue to monitor on an annual basis. And we recognize that even in areas that are lighter shaded, every child in King County deserves access to the resources they need to be happy and healthy and safe and thriving. And so really want to commit to working deeply in partnership with community to understand what those are and how we can support them getting met.
And then here's just highlighting some of our upcoming funding opportunities. It is better if you follow our blog, which continually sends out information. And on our website, we do have a calendar that can be accessed. But our storytelling and narrative strategy for the Best Starts for Kids Child Care Wage Boost pilot, upcoming with the deadline of the September 22nd, and then our Prenatal to 5 Innovation Fund. Also, there's some other upcoming opportunities promoting first relationships as well. So again, our blog is the best way to sort of track and receive information of upcoming funding opportunities.
And that's beststartsblog.com.
Yes. And I will just
baby pictures too.
I will just highlight as well that our funding opportunities we award funds based on a 3-year cycle, which came from feedback directly from community members.
Okay, our last wonky slide is a link to our data dashboard. This is updated annually at the same time that we release our annual report. And it is a great way to either get sort of general information about what's happening across the initiative or to get really specific, either with a certain community, a certain zip code, or a certain investment area. Really encourage you to take a look and kind of explore. There's a great mix of quantitative and qualitative data. And feel free to use it also if you find it helpful for other uses to kind of have that data at your fingertips. Okay, I think the last slide is just our contact information. Wonderful. That wraps us up, and I think we're happy to take questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Jessica or Dr. Jemima? Council? No? Christina?
So thank you for some of the literature and thank you for helping giving us an overview. Can we get a copy of your presentation? Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Brendan?
Thank you for the insight and the presentation. It's great to see something that I haven't thought about in a long time actually working for our community. And it's important to hear from the inside that are managing this incredibly important community Thanks a lot, and thank you for the presentation, that was questions. Beautiful with your deck. That's great.
Absolutely. Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you, ladies, very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. Item number 11 is a presentation from Salary Commission Report. City Attorney Rosenberg and Administrative Services Director Escobar. I believe you both want to be able to say something prior to the Salary Commission providing their report.
Thank you, Mayor. I was asked to provide a little information about the law for salary commissions because they are unique and we don't necessarily interact with the Salary Commission on a regular basis. So as an alternative to the governing body setting their own salary and the salaries of local elected officials, RCW 3521.015 allows cities to adopt a salary commission. And in the city of North Bend, we adopted the Salary Commission in 2017. You'll find it in our municipal code in chapter 2.36. So in 2.36 of our code, the city authorized the creation of the Salary Commission specifically to set and review compensation for local elected officials. The Salary Commission is subject to the Open Public Meetings Act. So there are agendas and notices and an opportunity for public comment. Commissioners are appointed by the mayor and approved by council under North Bend Municipal Code 2.36050. Commissioners serve a one-year term with a cap of 2 terms. And there are qualifying factors and disqualifiers laid out in the code as well. Their duties under the code are to review and set the salaries of all elected officials of the city of North Bend. And that is in section 2.36060. Specifically, the work that they do, I'll quote from the code, is any increase or decrease in salary shall be filed by the Salary Commission with the city clerk and shall become effective and incorporated into the city budget with no further action of council. And that is North Bend Municipal Code 2.36060 subsection C. And with that, I will defer to Lisa as to how our Salary Commission actually operates.
Thank you, Ms. Rosenberg.
Thank you, Kendra. So in June, the council approved appointment of 3 fabulous community members who have volunteered their time and expertise. They met in July and August, and yes, they did notice the meetings. There were agendas that allowed for public comment, and there were minutes recorded. They looked at data. They had good conversation. They were very collaborative with one another. It was very impressive to watch. And they have prepared a short presentation for you tonight for information for the council. I do want to say before I turn it over to them that the list of regional committees that council members and the mayor can be reimbursed for has been updated to include all the meetings that current councils are attending. So with no further ado, I'm quite honored to introduce Terry Pottmeyer, Susan Sill, and Tad Haas, who are the 2025 Salary Commission members.
Thank you and welcome, one and all.
Thank you, Mayor Miller, council members, staff, community. Thank you for this opportunity to present the results of our work on the Salary Commission. We, the 3 of us, are grateful for the opportunity to have been able to serve the community in this way. And we thank you for the trust that you've placed in us. We really enjoyed working together and we appreciated the excellent support that was provided by Lisa Escobar, the Administrative Services Director. As was just explained, the Salary Commission is established under the municipal code. It's appointed every 3 years, and it evaluates the salaries and compensations for all the elected officials in North Bend. As an independent decision-making body, our charge is to review the current salary and compensation, determine whether the compensation is appropriate. So I wanted to tell you some of the things we considered in making our decision. We considered whether the current salary and compensation was sufficient to ensure that every citizen could consider serving as an elected official without undue financial burden. We considered whether the salary and compensation was in line with our peer jurisdictions, jurisdictions that have similar governmental structures, populations, and responsibility. We considered whether the demands or expectations of all of you who are sitting in front of us tonight had changed since the last review 3 years ago. And if so, those changes might impact the fairness and sufficiency of the salary and the compensation that was being provided. We considered cost of living adjustments to keep up with inflation. And finally, we were cognizant of our responsibility to be good stewards of public funds. And at this time, I'd like to invite Susan Still to come up and tell you a little bit more about our decision about the mayor's compensation. And then Tad will close us out with a summary of changes to the salary and compensation with respect to the city council.
Thank you, Terry. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you. So as Terry stated, I'll start with a brief summation of our conversation about the position of mayor. As North Bend continues to grow in population and regional importance, we recognize that the demands on our mayor have increased in the past 3 years. The role has grown as our city has grown, requiring more comprehensive oversight of municipal operations, increased time commitments, strategic leadership, and active engagement with regional partners and stakeholders. To ensure that a mayoral candidate can be confident that the compensation is in line with role expectations and to best support the elected mayor in the execution of their duties, the Salary Commission increased the mayor's compensation to $6,000 a month, up from $4,000, and eliminated the stipend for meeting attendance, which was, I think, $1,000 maximum, opting to fold that expectation into the base salary. The net impact to the city's budget is an increase of $1,000 per month. I'd like to welcome Tad to the podium to share our decision with respect to council compensation.
Thank you, Susan. Welcome, Tad.
Indeed. Thank you, Terry, and thank you, Susan. For our council member review, we evaluated the current salary and overall compensation, and that included meeting stipends. North Bend council members are compensated slightly above average when compared to peer cities with the same population, especially when council members maximize the meeting-related stipends. We did not see any significant change in the expectations for council member duties in the last 3 years, and noted that regional meeting attendance has had, in some cases, gotten easier with the widespread use of virtual platforms. We do, however, believe that in-person meetings are important and should still be encouraged. The Salary Commission maintained the salary for commission, but is providing a 3% cost of living adjustment. The 3% increase is an average annual change of the CPI from 2022 to 2025 and increases the monthly salary from $550 to $570 per month. No change was made in the meeting stipend. Definition of what constitutes a required meeting and how meetings are reimbursed were reviewed by the committee, but no changes were made. As a note, council members and the mayor will continue to be reimbursed for mileage to and from meetings authorized by North Bend Municipal Code 3.36. With that, I'd like to thank Terry, Susan, for the opportunity to serve our community. If desired, we're happy to respond to any questions that you might have or comments.
Thank you all. Any questions for our fine, wonderful people in front of us from council? One. Okay, Brendan.
And just thank you for the presentation and thank you for volunteering and contributing. And I appreciate the undue financial burdens of the metrics that you leverage on this. And just running just quick Excel math, the average based on the cities you analyze for, at least for the mayor's salary, for example, just overall our average is $1,927. And City of North Bend is currently at $4,000. And then the increase, another $2,000, you're taking away $1,000 stipend, so we're going to be the $6,000 increase ish, right? So I'm just trying to understand how the averages play into that, because when I also look at taking out outliers such as any city that doesn't pay the mayor more than $1,000. We can average around $2,500. And then if we take out cities, Palmy, which is also an outlier, it's the highest paid mayor on the list, we're seeing an average of about $1,500. So I'm just trying to understand the undue financial burden. All these other communities are achieving growth. How did that factor in, or did that factor into the city?
When we looked, and I'll take a first stab at it. When we looked at the data, the first set of data was supplied by the city staff, and that included the previous salary commission's data that they've accumulated. We also went through the search of publicly available data from regional, state, and beyond areas, and then went through the collective human review and actually an AI analysis that I did, not speaking for the committee, but just using it as a reference for comparison. And that led us to our observations, the conclusions, and the recommendations that we made.
Good to add. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll go.
Oh, Mark, thank you.
Again, as earlier, I just want to thank you all for your willingness to volunteer, take your personal time. Appreciate you coming for us tonight and explaining your thinking and rationale and clearly your due diligence. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Susan. Oh, yes, Susan first.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank the Salary Commission for the time and thoughtful work that you put into reviewing and setting compensation for elected officials. I also want to say how much I truly value the time you've been putting in as volunteers. And all of us here on council have done that, and we totally understand how it takes up your free time and personal hours. Sacrifices, for example, Tad likes to go bike riding. Instead of doing that, he was out there working on this for us. So I just want you to know that that we see the value in what you guys have been doing, and choosing to spend that time to help the city, I think is honorable commitment. And along with my fellow council members, I know they all deeply appreciate your service. I think that I can speak for the whole council when I say that we truly respect the independence of this process. We appreciate that it's designed to stay free from influence by the mayor and by council and by city staff. And I think it's fair to say the commission's work is focused on the positions themselves and not the people currently serving them. And that's how it should be. At the same time, respecting the process also means being honest about the broader context the city's facing, particularly the financial challenges that lie ahead. My guess is that the Salary Commission was not provided information about the financial challenges the city is facing next year. And I just want to acknowledge that this may not have been part of your deliberations. I think it's fair to say that all of council was generally surprised to see the recommendation to double the mayor's salary. One of our biggest concerns is how this decision will appear to the public. Our finance director has reported that we are projected to lose money next year. And we're looking to figure out how we're going to be able to do that. Losing money means we're not going to have enough revenue for the expenses. So we've already asked staff to look at ways to cut costs. Introducing a salary increase of this size in this financial climate is difficult to reconcile and could erode public trust. We also have some tough questions to ask. Will we need to reduce staff position or cut services in order to handle this increase? And the very real concern to us is coming this next year of how we're going to be working with all this. So like our city attorney mentioned, and I want to make sure it's clear, council doesn't have the authority to approve this or vote on this salary decision. Under Washington state law, the Salary Commission is full authority to set the salaries on its own. And so that means this increase is going to happen January 1st, 2026. So with that said, Mayor Miller, I know that during the finance meeting, Lisa stated that the mayor could not refuse or lower the raise. However, I was doing some research and I learned that several Washington cities have had mayors voluntarily refuse all or part of their salary by donating it back to the city. So it can be done. So in light of our current financial situation and to avoid having to make it this difficult decision to cut staff, I'd like to ask you whether you consider accepting a smaller increase, perhaps 10% instead of 50%, and donate the remainder back to the city. In that same spirit of shared sacrifice, I want to lead by example. So I will donate my 2026 City Council raise to the food bank. I would also like to extend the invitation to my fellow council members to consider doing something similar, either donating to the food bank or Mount Si Senior Center as a sign of shared commitment to fiscal responsibility and community support. So, Mayor, what say you? That means Old English. Give me an answer.
Mayor, can I just clarify something, and I
Please
can
do.
lead on the commission to do that. I just want to clarify the record. It's not a double in salary. It's $1,000 increase. So I just want to make sure that we're clear about the data that we're giving out, that it's not a double in salary. So just for the public. Thank you. And Tad, please.
You guys have it right now.
I choose not to comment at this time. I think the fullness and the transparency of the moment, I will always be transparent with you. I think this comes as a surprise. And council members, I would wish to remind you all very kindly that surprises are not welcome here. So that would have been nice to have known that you had this on your mind. We could have talked out of the office or in the office. So this is, you put me in a bad position, Susan. I don't appreciate it. But I'm willing to work with all of you. I always am. You're always welcome to call me. My door is always open, and I will stand strong and tall for you in every way possible. I work hard, but this is their decision. It's not my decision, and you're welcome to do whatever you like with your monies. It's on you. So I don't want the community to understand or being misinformed about this. And know in my heart, I'm here to work for each and every one of you, and I'm grateful for every day to be able to work with these fine individuals in front of me. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Anybody else? Christina.
Thank you. Yeah, so I just wanted to say thank you for the work that you guys did. I very much appreciate it, and realize that you worked within the North Bend Municipal Code 2.36. So my question is actually for Kendra. In reading through in the Municipal Code 2.36, I noticed that there were differences in salary increases being established for the following year versus the decreases for an incumbent city elected officials until the commencement of their next term of office. So my question to you is, not for today, but in the future, can we as a council make changes to this and therefore in the future have more responsibility for the budget?
I'll start with the first part if I can. So salary commissions are authorized by law to implement pay increases at any time during a term. Decreases cannot take effect until after the end of the official's term of office, according to the Washington State Constitution, Article 11, Section 8. So that is mirrored in our municipal code, but that is actually a Washington State constitutional law. With that, yes, the council can make changes to Chapter 2.36 of the North Bend Municipal Code. You would do that through your normal ordinary process, ordinance, et cetera. That being said, the Salary Commission, in the way that it's outlined in state law, is really for the Salary Commission to make that recommendation and file it with the city clerk, and then it's implemented into the budget. So if that is not the process, then we would go through what a different process would look like. But the way it's set up now is consistent with state law.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Alan, thank you.
I want to thank you guys for your work. I do appreciate it. But can I get a little bit of clarification? Does that mean rolling back the commission and disbanding this way of looking at the way the salary? I mean, I'm concerned that as an elected official, raises being put, and it's not. It was originally designed to shield the political body from this, and I think in the long run, it's a big mistake. And so, not part of this, won't be here part of this, but is that something that the council can look at going forward and changing the way we do things on this process?
If the council wished to make any modification, whether it's to disband the salary commission or make changes, you would do that through your normal ordinance process. And you would be looking at Chapter 2.36 and any recommended adjusting of the language we could do through our normal ordinary process.
Anybody else? Okay, Errol. And Errol, you were on this. case
Yes,
years ago.
exactly what I was
Okay.
going to
Pardon me.
add a little bit of perspective from my own, since I did serve on that commission. I guess I'll say interesting conversation going on, something I'm sure we can talk about later on. I will say the conversation that I had years ago, which I'm sure went through this current commission's thoughts, is it's a tricky position to be in a growing community that is much larger today than maybe when things were and where we're going in the future. I think the current structure of the mayor's role and compensation really does not allow for a diverse candidate pool for the future, especially for what I would consider my demographic of growing families. It's pretty impossible to expect somebody with young children to walk away from their employment and serve as a leader of a community this size under the current structure. Now, with that said, is there a foolproof answer to that? No, for sure. It would, regardless of the decision, I think you'd sort of have to rip the Band-Aid off one way or the other. I think I'm much more in favor of doing what would benefit the greater community and allow more people to potentially step up under all economic situations and say that they have great ideas that they want to share with the community and maybe take a stab at running for election. So I appreciate the role, and I think you probably had those conversations because it is a tricky analysis, especially when you're looking at neighboring communities. And I would like this council to consider, and understandably where you're at and the tough challenges we have in the future, I would like us to consider how that looks in the future, because I think this town is very dynamic and far more diverse than maybe it's ever been. And I think that needs to be reflected in the leaders that come forth in the future. And part of that's going to be having to increase the compensation for this role so people feel like they are not leaving their family in a tough spot or, independently, what have you. So anyways, it's a tricky role. I appreciate the time and effort you put into it. I'm sure you had some dynamic conversations amongst yourselves as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Errol. Did I miss anybody else? I think we're good. Okay. Thank you one and all for all your efforts. Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to move on to commission and committee reports. Let's go with Brendan for community and economic development, please.
Yes, so the Community and Economic Development Committee met today at 4:00. We had a number of different items. It was a good discussion. We discussed the introduction of a draft disposition and development agreement for the 230 Main Affordable Housing Project. We discussed non-residential impact fee proposal to do some research on that front, establish a good baseline. Sign codage is a big boulder that's kind of moving uphill. Hopefully it will go downhill at some point, but there's a lot of work going into the sign code right now. We received an update from the Wyndham Hotel, and we went through the CED activity report. Our next meeting, it's October 21st, the third Tuesday of every month. Open seating. Please join. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Finance Administration, and then right after East Side Fire and Rescue, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Go right
got
into
it.
that. Appreciate that. So Finance Committee met on September 9th in the City Hall. We discussed the financial status of January to August 25th, kind of a check-in, described the status, and a more comprehensive financial status report will be provided during our work study. We did get an update on the Salary Commission. Again, I want to thank those members that came forward, but we as a Finance Committee, we got an update of that. We also discussed the annual renewal of our Microsoft license. So, of course, that's one thing we use all around, and I do agree with that. And then talked about general fund fiscal sustainability analysis. These are advanced review materials that will be presented to the City Council during our September 23rd work study. And then just discuss major committee work moving forward. Some of the things of talking about reviewing the biennium financial package. I will now move on to Eastside Fire and Rescue. Eastside Fire and Rescue met September 11th, 2025. The biggest news coming out of that meeting was we did unanimously appoint a new fire chief. Assistant Chief Will Aho will be taking over, and we're working very quickly and diligently to get a contract so that he can come on board. We're looking at probably around November 1st for him to join us, or not join us, or become the new fire chief. The fire chief briefing was long, and let me get to that part. Basically, because of the day, we kind of remarked about September 11th and all those firefighters and public safety and other people that lost their lives. We did welcome a new deputy chief, Chief Kara Putnam, who was very excited to come on board. I actually got to meet with her, and her comment was she was excited to come on to a very unique and agency, and one that has got a lot of people looking to come into and join. So that was kind of a nice conversation with her. We are doing on September 3rd, Eastside Fire and Rescue launched recruitment for the new Deputy Director of Administration. The current member of that position is going to be retiring at the end of the year. We did get some projections on our mid-buy update. There will be no additional funding requested to partner agencies, so I think that's a positive thing for us. We discussed the wildland fire deployments, and thank God I think we got through today's event with the heat with no additionals, but currently we had 8 personnel deployed across the Northwest. Several of our employees are serving in key incident management roles, while others are assigned to operational supporting the Crown Creek Fire, the Wildcat Fire, the Rattlesnake Fire, the Lower Sugarloaf, and Labor Mountain Fire. We wish that they all be safe. One of the things that we did approve a while ago is our apparatus is getting a little low on, or short on the tooth, long on the tooth. One of our ladder trucks had an issue, and we took it out of service because it was causing back issues for the people on the ladder truck. We came up with a unique suspension, a new air suspension that's actually exceeded the crew's ideas of what it was like, and it is back in service, and so we're looking forward to that, and that was a good thing. Staff is working currently with King County Fire District 10 to put together a bond for our additional fire apparatus that we need to order, since it had become clear that as Eastside Fire and Rescue, as being a nonprofit, we could not bond for those services. So Eastside King County Fire District 10 will bond for it, and then Eastside Fire and Rescue will pay those bonds. Just a little bit more, they discussed a little bit of the family in crisis supported by our crew. Last month, crews responded to a car fire involving a mother of 3 children and their service dog. The family, originally from Snohomish County, was passing through our service area on a road trip to celebrate one of the children's birthday. Upon arrival, the crew discovered the family had been living out of their vehicle. And with that, they had lost everything. Stranded in an unfamiliar area without belongings or support, they were in urgent need. The BC on the scene contacted our core team, which immediately mobilized to connect the family with local resources. Leveraging the partnership, Core was able to secure a same-day intake appointment with the Reclaim in Snoqualmie Valley. Reclaim provided the family with immediate temporary housing, clothing, food, and comfort, building much-needed stability after trauma of a fire. Thanks to all to seeing collaboration, the children have since been able to start school, and the family continues to work with the service providers on steps for long-term stability. Heartfelt thank you to the responding fire crews. And the only other thing to date is Fall City has asked to meet with us on trying to build a deeper relationship, possibly some sort of administrative relationship with Eastside Fire. And that's probably the best of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Rustic, can you bring us on board with public health and safety?
Yes, thank you. Public Health and Safety Committee met September 2nd at 4 o'clock. We had a fire update, most of which Councilmember Godhealth has just shared. So a police update as well, review of monthly service calls, and a discussion about DUIs and public safety levels. We also discussed the King County Jail Services contract. Unfortunately, there's increased jail costs at the King County Jail heading into next year. We had an informational conversation about ICE and sanctuary cities, and also discussed golf carts on city streets and sidewalks. And that was it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Colon, Transportation, Public Works, take it away.
Yes, we last met on August 26th at 4:00 here in our chambers. Mark Rigos was our director at that meeting. We talked about a monthly update, number 3, on Meadowbrook Sewer ULID sewer/wastewater treatment plant. We also got an update on capital projects in engineering phase during 2025. It's a very long list. I will not go through it. Talked about an update on capital projects on the construction phase during 2025. Also a very long list, interesting list, if you guys have time to look at it. We had a resolution accepting project closeout with Northwest Cascade for construction of the Boxley Creek mitigation line, Salal Energy Water. We had a resolution accepting project closeout with Keithley Electric for EOC generator work at the Public Works Administration building, which has been very needed for them. There's a resolution accepting infrastructure improvements from Peak View LLC for the Snoqualmie Valley Athletic Center Phase 1. It's a private development. There was a motion approving agreement number 2 between City and the Northwest Train Museum for Railroad Crossing Project, and resolution granting access and utility easement agreement and quitclaim deed related to the Almway ROW dedication. And there's one more. No, 2 more. We discussed the city's first ever ADA transition plan. It's quite the process. Needs to be done. And the 11th thing, there was a motion authorizing engineering contract with PH Consulting for the 2026 Sidewalk Gaps Project. Our next meeting is on September 23rd, and we will be transitioning away from Mr. Rigos to Tom Moore. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem Mark Johnson, work study.
Thank you, Your Honor. The council held a special work study on August 26th. The purpose of the tour was for council members to provide ideas, next steps, and vision for future development standards. And we wandered around town. Actually, we stopped at 4 different well-planned locations, accompanied by many staff, to have discussions about. We all recognize that the decisions we make at a certain point in time are actualized in the built environment that we live in. And it was a long requested and thought about adventure out into our town as a group, because one of the things about being in this position, it's very hard to be in conversation. The times that we get to speak with each other is during noticed meetings, and so it was a great opportunity for us as a group to go to various locations. I want to thank very much staff, in particular, Director of Community and Economic Development, James Henderson, Planner Caitlin Hepworth, and Senior Planner Mike McCarty, who explained at various stops the implications, the histories, the backgrounds, the trade-offs. It was very insightful for all of us. We then came back and had an informed conversation for an hour about what we had seen, what the implications were, and all agreed that it was a conversation that we are anxious to continue going forward. We then adjourned for an executive session for an hour on into the evening. If I may, Mayor, I'll just jump in with a regional committee report. On September 10th, I believe I attended as the alternate the Sound Cities Association Public Issues Committee. which was in person at the Mercer Island Community Hall. Prior to that, there was an invitation, and I attended a tour of the Mercer Island Transit Station, which is not yet functional. It's very interesting, but it was pointed out, if you're unaware, that a train has actually transited, a light rail train has transited from Seattle on the I-90 corridor across Lake Washington to Mercer Island. And it's a big deal. And, it's long awaited, long overdue. But it was very insightful. And it's, again, how you learn things. You go out and you look and you be in conversation. The meeting was then led by Robert Feldstein, the head of SCA. One of the presentations, interestingly, earlier tonight, we had a presentation from King County Library System. AJ Foltz from the King County Library System came before the group they're exploring the possibility of a levy lid lift for the King County Library System. It's important to recognize that the King County Library System is independent of King County, the King County General Fund. They're their own entity. And not surprisingly, their levy capacity of 50% has denigrated to the point that it's right about 24.5 cents. And they face, as do so many entities, serious financial challenges going forward. They're looking into the future and sounding out the group of the Sound Cities Association as to reasonable paths. And they've done modeling and presented, of course, examples if nothing happens and if they take the full 50 cents. And it's important to that group in particular that they're coming now at this time instead of later, saying, here's what we're planning to do, and seeking support for it. So it's the beginning of a conversation. Robert Feldstein then talked about the King County Transportation District, which similarly came forward with a proposal for a 0.1% increase in sales tax. The King County Transportation District is challenged, of course, because as cities annex, there's less of unincorporated King County, but there's more cars on the roads that they're expected to maintain. So they too are in financial straits, and that's an ongoing conversation. There's been some back and forth in that regard. And then the third item that was discussed was the indigent defense case standards that has moved through the Supreme Court. And there's conversation about greatly diminishing the caseload on public defenders, which has various serious implications for the budgets of our city as well as many others. There were then additional updates, and I should know when the next PIC meeting is, but I don't. Thank you.
Okay, I think we're going to bounce to regional and then we'll go to James Henderson. So, Carol. Yep.
Although I missed this meeting, I'll give you a quick update on the Snoqualmie Valley Aquatics Collaborative, which has finished up 10 months of work. There was an update letter sent to Councilmember Perry, along with other elected officials. And just a reminder, this group included Skyview Metropolitan Park District, the City of North Bend, myself, as well as Councilmember Colin and Rustick, Snoqualmie Valley School District, Falls City Metropolitan Park District, Mount Si Senior Center, and Valley Pool together. There is going to be a formal recommendation presented tomorrow evening to Skyview Park District Commissioners at the September 17th meeting with a request for guidance on further direction for the project. We expect there to likely be some interest to continue on at some pace. And there has also been inklings of interest from our neighbors in Snoqualmie to participate in the conversation, with I think is exciting and incredible progress from where we were 10 months ago. So look forward to more updates along the way.
It's for regional.
I have one.
Okay, Susan.
Okay, the July 25 meeting summary. Okay, so on July 31st, the Regional Law, Safety, and Justice Committee met. And first we talked about mental health first aid pilot program. We heard from the City of Kirkland, and they had done a pilot program. This training equips community members to recognize and respond to mental health and substance use crises. Kirkland hosted a 3-day full class this year, 2 for the public and 1 for city staff. And the program was so successful, they plan to expand that monthly classes starting in September. Importantly, these trainings are free for cities. Valley Cities is the entity that provides the instructors, materials, and advertising. The city simply supplies the venue. This could be an opportunity for North Bend to consider for our own residents and staff. And I will send an email to staff so you have contact information. Next, we learned that the Together We Can End Gun Violence Summit, which gathered over 200 participants from law enforcement, fire, EMS, 911, and community violence intervention professionals. The purpose was to improve coordination in gun violence crisis responses. The focus was built on trust across the different disciplines, reducing barriers to collaboration, and addressing trauma experienced by public safety workers. A key data point was they shared was that King County had seen nearly 40% drop in gun violence this year, thanks to in part these coordinated interventions. Finally, the state Supreme Court, as Mayor Pro Tem stated, State Supreme Court recently adopted new indigent defense caseload standards, which will cut the public defender caseloads by roughly 2/3 over the next decade. While this is an important step towards ensuring fair representation, it will require cities like ours to secure significant new resources to stay in compliance. The Association of Washington Cities was advocating for increased state funding since cities currently handle 65% of misdemeanor cases, but receive only 10% of state funding for these public defense. In summary, the committee emphasized several action items for cities. One, once we are settled with King County, we might want to consider hosting mental health first aid training courses locally with Valley cities, or maybe earlier. And then staff may want to reach out to AWC to see if there's any way the City of North Bend can be of help regarding the advocating with the legislation to secure funding for the increased costs for public defense. This concludes my update for the July Regional Law, Safety, and Justice Committee.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Let's go to James Henderson, please. Planning, Parks, and Economic Development Commission reports. Thank you very much for providing them.
Great. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council members. The Planning Commission met on August 6th and 20th. The Commission heard amendments to the city's landscape regulations. This includes eliminating a buffer for designated agricultural lands that are located just outside the city limits, providing additional water conservation requirements for landscaping irrigation, and reducing the landscape maintenance bond duration from 3 years to 1 year. In addition, the Commission held a public hearing for amendments to the city's land use definitions and zoning regulations, and to address recent state legislation concerning redevelopment. The Commission also discussed a proposed amendment that would allow ground floor residential within the neighborhood mixed-use zone when located behind commercial development fronting North Bend Way. Finally, the Planning Commission received an introduction to an update of the city's sign regulation and reviewed definitions for the city's sign regulations as well. The Planning Commission will next meet tomorrow evening, September 17th, and will consider a recommendation to the Community Economic Development Committee for amendments to the city's land use definitions and zoning regulations. In addition, they will be presented with an introduction of the draft disposition and development agreement with the Related Northwest for the 230 Main Affordable Housing Project. The Parks Commission last met on July 23rd to discuss and decide on the use of their annual small park improvement budget, and they proposed funding 2 new picnic tables with pads at the Farmstead area at Tollgate Farm Park. The Commission also discussed ideas for wayfinding signage program in partnership with the Economic Development Commission for next year. The Parks Commission also hosted a public outreach booth at the July 10 and August 14 Farmers Market, where they sought input on the bike mobility plan and other park and trail improvement plans as well. The Parks Commission will next meet on September 24th to discuss further scoping for wayfinding signage and a potential pop-up dog park. And finally, in July and August, the Economic Development Commission met and received updates about the bike mobility plan. In addition, the Commission discussed and provided feedback for a Port of Seattle Partnership Grant application to raise awareness of outdoor recreation and creative arts to support World Cup visitors in 2026. In addition, the Commission received an introduction to the proposed sign code amendments and provide feedback for the sign code and business survey that will be released very soon. The North Bend Economic Development Commission will be holding a joint commission meeting with the City of Snoqualmie and their Economic Development Commission tomorrow on September 17th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. if you're interested in attending. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Once again, council, thank you for all your updates for us. We're going to move on to introductions. Item number 12, AB 25-095, public hearing and ordinance amending taxes, rates, and fees schedule regarding school impact fees. Mr. McCarty, will you please provide the staff report?
Will do, Mayor. So council, before you tonight are the proposed school impact fees for 2026. And these are collected by the city and passed on to the school district when new residential units are issued building permits. The fees and improvements needed for new facilities to support increased growth throughout the district are reviewed and developed annually in the school district's capital facilities plan, which is adopted by the school board. So this year, there's no change in the multifamily unit rate that will remain at $6,170 and change. The single family rate went up approximately $3,000 and is proposed at $13,126 and change. This year, the ordinance does amend cottages to simplify categories. So cottages up to 1,200 square feet are now considered with a multifamily rate. So I'm happy to address any questions about internal process for the city's collection. But we also have Ryan Stokes here, the Assistant Superintendent with this Finance and Operations with the district. And Ryan can provide any additional information or answer questions on behalf of the district.
Thank you, Mike. And thank you, Ryan, for being here. Council, do you have any clarifying questions for either gentleman? It appears no. Thank you, Bo. All right, we will now move on to the public hearing. A public hearing on ordinance amending Texas rates and fees schedules regarding school impact fees is now open. If any members of the audience would like to comment during the public hearing, we would invite you to come forward to the podium at this time. If you have request accommodation from the city clerk and wish to speak, please raise your hand through the virtual platform and we will take your comments after in-person comments. Please remember to state your name, your address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Anybody? Anybody online, Aaron? Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to wait a second. Okay. All right, the public hearing is now closed. One more bang. All right, Councilmember Elwood, would you please make the motion?
Thank you, Your Honor. Motion to approve AB 25-095, an ordinance updating the amount of school impact fees, amending taxes, rates, and fee schedules relating to school impact fees, and amending ordinance number 1260 as a first and final reading.
Thank you very much. Do we have a second? Second. Thank you. Motion made by Mr. Brennan Elwood and second by Mr. Gottelf. Mr. Elwood, would you like to comment to your motion?
No.
That was quick. Now I'm looking down at Mr. Gottelf. Would you like to comment to your motion?
It's a housekeeping item. It's a housekeeping item, so not much to say. My hope is at some point we get to a point where we see a lot less temporary setups for our students, especially here in North Bend. Those temporary units are looking long in the tooth and probably need some upgrading. So hopefully this helps move it forward. Also nice to see the new transitional school and that coming out. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else on council have anything they'd like to say? Mark.
Well, given that Mr. Stokes has taken his time and spent almost 2 hours with us this evening, I will take the opportunity to simply encourage continued and if not increased capital investment, particularly in North Bend. We are the North Bend City Council, of course. We appreciate the challenges the district faces and that these are district-wide. And it's perhaps the largest school district in the state, certainly one of the largest geographic school districts in the state. But as you've been made aware in the past in meeting with this group of people, even before I got here, we're continually anxious to make sure that we feel like we're getting our share of capital investments out of the school district. So thank you for your time this evening. I appreciate your shepherding this forward. I appreciate the support of council. I don't disagree. It's a housekeeping item, but impact fees are part of how we pass past investments onto new residents, given that, those of us who have lived here for some time are happy to see capital investments. And as we've duly noted with Mr. Rigos's departure, ongoing investment in infrastructure and capital projects is a big deal and benefits all of us. But it's a bunch of overlapping circles, and this is one of them. So thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Any other council members wish to comment? Errol.
Yeah, appreciate the presentation that you've had at subcommittee and all the detail in here. And I understand it's housekeeping, as my colleague said, but I guess I'll take a second just to encourage both the district and parents to be more engaged with each other, because I think it's only housekeeping to the extent we allow it to be. I think parents, and I am one of those. There's a number of concerns that I've heard in our community at Opstead Elementary and others. But to be fair, from being in the policy position, I don't know if all those concerns are reaching the district, and part of that is, frankly, parents just not willing to have that conversation or express those concerns. So it works kind of both ways, right? The district's trying to do their job and show the details of the capital improvements, but I would hope the parents that I've spoken to will take time to engage and understand that, these fees are increasing, but they're going to use and going to projects. And if you don't necessarily agree with those projects, then share your thoughts and engage with the district as much as you engage with the city as well. And I will make my little parent claim. I would love to see some air conditioning units in our elementary schools. It was pretty hot today, but I will be sending the email to you direct, but appreciate the work.
Thanks for Errol. Anybody else I might have missed? No. Oh, come on up, Ryan.
Sorry, I know it's been long, but the Department of Commerce has a Clean Buildings Air Act that is forcing all schools to reduce their energy usage, which makes it very hard to air condition the facilities. So we would love to as well, and it's becoming a challenge. As a note, our new Mount Si High School doesn't meet the standard that they have enforced. And so we're looking to reduce energy usage even more. That's the first building that has to come into play. And so it's an issue that all schools are grappling with to be in compliance with the new laws there. Thank you for all your time and commitment. And I've enjoyed the 2 hours. I've actually been sitting here trying to come up with a plow name using Mark's name for a submission. And all I can come up with is Mark Regos, Go Gadget, or like Go Power Ranger. So I'm just going to keep thinking about that for that submission so we can compete.
But thank you, Ryan. Okay, I'm going to go forward. The motion before us is to approve AB 25-095, an ordinance updating the amount of school impact fees, amending the taxes, rates, and fees schedule relating to school impact fees, and amending ordinance number 1260 as a first and final reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's a resounding motion, passes unanimously 7-0. Okay, item number 13, AB 25-096, public hearing and ordinance increasing stormwater rates and amending taxes, rates, and fees schedule. Mr. Regos.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, page 85 in your packet. And
Yep.
this particular agenda item has already undergone quite a bit of vetting. We've had this it's touched 6 council members. It's been to 3 committee meetings. And so I think everybody but Mark Jocelyn has provided input on this. It is a 6-year program, so it starts in 2025 as a plan and ends in 2030. I'd just like to read one sentence, kind of a purpose statement of our stormwater utility and what it does. The city's stormwater utility serves to protect private and public property from flooding and damage control and manage surface water runoff during rain events, protect the natural environment through erosion control and water quality treatment methods, and improve the conditions of city streets for drivability and durability. Public Works, we had prepared a storm drainage action plan. It's on page 93 in your packet. We also contracted with a consultant, FCS Bowman, to help us with the anticipated rate increases. Our residents have been saving quite a bit of money for the past 10 to 20 years on a little lower storm drainage fund than some of our neighboring cities. But with this anticipated additional funding, what does it do? Well, it addresses our ongoing capital program projects, some of which include the levee setback project, which is downtown widening the South Fork Snoqualmie River with a larger levee, provides flood mitigation culverts, larger culverts in the Silver Creek neighborhood, also a larger culvert in Ryberry Creek. It potentially allows us to hire a full-time maintenance technician, a city arborist, and also a surface water manager. So we had several touches with committees, and what we seem to come to a recommended result was a stair-stepped increase instead of a one giant step increase, and that's shown in page 87 in your packet, where it goes up approximately $5 per year for the next 5 or 6 years. So at the bottom of page 87 in your packet, you'll see where the North Bend's existing storm drainage monthly charges and versus some of our comparable cities nearby. So that concludes the staff report. City staff do support this increase. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Any clarifying questions for Mark's last report? Alan?
Mark, when was the last time we updated this impact fee for the?
It's nearly 20 years ago.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Sorry to bring this up as a surprise, perhaps. The city has a current on-call contract with an arborist, I believe. Do you have any idea what the current expenditure for arborist services are on an annual?
I'm going to guess it's somewhere around 50 grand or so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments from Mr. Rigos? Okay, well, now move on to the public hearing. Public hearing on the ordinance increasing stormwater rates and amending taxes, rates, and fees schedule is now open. If any members of the community and the audience would like to comment during the public hearing, we would invite you to come forward to the podium at this time. If you have requested commentation with the city clerk and wish to speak, please raise your hand through the virtual platform, and we'll take your comments after in-person comments. Please remember to state your name, your address, and you have 3 minutes on the record to speak. Anybody out there? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay, we're going to close the public hearing. That's official. Councilmember Gattef, will you please make the motion?
Sure. Motion to approve AB-096, an ordinance increasing stormwater rates and amending tax rates, fees, and schedules as a first and final reading.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Gattef and second by Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Let's see, Ellen, do you have any comments to make?
Yeah, I mean, as we said, this thing has not been updated in 20 years. It's one of the things we've got to take a look at it is not light. We don't take this lightly as we move forward. The cost of housing and trying to provide affordable housing continues to increase with additional things that cities need, and this is one of them. And the start of multiple ones as we start to look for some of the ones we haven't updated for a while. I do recommend it pass, but I do understand it's more pain for our residents and our homeowners, and unfortunately, it's needed to move the city forward. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Jocelyn, do you have any comments to make?
To me, it's a great example of the challenges in balance, which is a word I use fairly often in this undertaking that we're all engaged in here together. I appreciate the stair-step approach that's being proposed. I will be voting in support. I do want to acknowledge that part of the increase in funds is slated to hire a full-time arborist for the city of North Bend, which is something I have advocated for, been anxious for, and I think is a great investment that's going to pay untoward dividends for our residents and our environment that we live in going forward. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other council members wish to comment? Brendan?
Yes, thank you. I agree with my colleagues. And I just want to say thank you to Mark for shopping this around I shouldn't say shopping this around, for navigating it through the different committees, because everyone on this panel takes the increase in costs very seriously to all of our residents. Every dollar here ends up adding up. And so definitely appreciating the nurturing of this so we could get here today and feel comfortable with the decision, not like it, but feel comfortable because the rationale is sound and it makes perfect sense for why we're doing what we're doing. So I just wanted to acknowledge the process on this particular one was, I really appreciated it.
Thank you, Brendan. Anybody else? Oh, Chris.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment that these dollars that are increased are specific to the cost of operating the system, and they are not to raise funds for any of the other things that we have for the city. So you are correct. We discussed those potential hiring decisions as it relates to supporting this utility and infrastructure only. So just want to make sure that was clear that this is a very specific request for cost increase. Thank you. And any more? Oh, there's Susan.
Yeah, I just want to say everything that Brendan just said, I totally completely agree with. So it was easy for me to make a comment.
Anybody else? Okay, the motion before us is to approve AB 25-096, an ordinance increasing stormwater rates and amending the taxes, rates, and fees schedule as the first and final reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, one and all. The motion passes unanimously. We will now recess the meeting for an executive session to discuss potential litigation pursuant to RCW 42.30.1101I. The executive session is expected to last 15 minutes, and the videotaping of this meeting will pause at this time. It will resume when we return to chambers. City's attorneys Evans and Rosenberg will be present at the executive session. Thank you very much. We'll be back. Jocelyn, do you have a motion for us?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I move to authorize the mayor to execute and administer the interlocal agreement between the city of North Bend and the city of Snoqualmie for police services.
Do I have a second? Second. Oh, thank you very much. Motion by Mr. Jocelyn, second by Ms. Rustick. Council member and Mayor Pro Tem Jocelyn, do you have anything you'd like to add to your motion?
Yes, it's been a long journey, but here we are for public information, and it's not sharing anything that's last night. So the city of Snoqualmie voted in favor of, and the mayor signed the same agreement that we're about to vote on as a council. And if we vote in the affirmative, which I intend to, that's going to put to bed the ongoing litigation, past disagreements. We will have a common interlocal agreement between the two cities, which will allow us to move forward. And I'm excited and ecstatic about that, primarily because I think it will allow the legislative bodies of our two cities to stop feeling like we're fighting with each other and begin to rebuild trust and relationships because of our proximity and relationship to each other. It's a very important relationship, and it has suffered as a result of this effort to this council voted unanimously to transition police services. It was a difficult decision, but it was well considered. It was studied and researched, and we worked. It was a result of a long, ongoing, and very thoughtful process on our behalf. It's been difficult, but we're on the cusp here, I think, of moving beyond that. And that's a very significant and important moment in this city's history. And so I'm ecstatic, frankly. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Ms. Rustick, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
Yes, thank you. Nicely summarized by Councilmember Jocelyn. I'll just add that, we have, through this whole process, continued to work very well with our Snoqualmie Police Department. We are working well with the transition, and this vote tonight will, as Councilmember Jocelyn said, just put to rest any of the other details that have kept us from continuing to move forward. And I too am very excited about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council members wish to speak at this time or comment? Brendan? Nope.
Yeah,
Oh,
stand up.
sorry, Alan, sorry.
While I'm excited that we're going to get to this process, I'm frustrated by how we got to here. This process was originally, this contract with Snoqualmie had an out with 18 months. Snoqualmie chose at that point not to accept that. Was not a real good period for both cities. My hope is that everybody learned from this moving forward and that there could be a way for the cities to work forward. This was not a great representation of partnership within this Snoqualmie Valley. And for that part, it's not fun to have this, but I'm excited that we're finally get to a point where we can move past this. It will save the city money in litigation and probably on both sides. So I will be supporting it.
Thank you. Anybody? Okay, Brendan.
I agree 100% with all my colleagues. And I would like to acknowledge the city of Snoqualmie, the city council of Snoqualmie, for coming together and realizing that this agreement is the right path forward for both cities. So I want to thank them for their due diligence and their consideration to get us to this point as well. But I also want to thank our staff and all the people behind the scenes, making sure that we are caught up on everything that's going on, fully informed, so that each decision point we had to make as a council was thoughtful, and we were making it with the best available information, with the best motivation and best intentions. And I also want to thank my colleagues here. We've stood on stable, solid ground, all of us, on a shared plateau, and we all embraced each other on that plateau, and that finally got us here. So I think there's a lot of good mutual respect that I'm feeling for everybody in this room to get us here tonight. I too will be supporting this agreement as well. Thank you.
Anybody else? No. Okay, I move to authorize the mayor to execute and administer the interlocal agreement between the city of North Bend and the city of Snoqualmie for police services. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries and is unanimous. Thank you one and all. This is fantastic. Okay, item number 14, AB 25-097, resolution authorizing an easement and quitclaim deed regarding Almway right-of-way vacation. Mr. Regos, will you please provide the staff report?
You bet. Thanks, Mayor. Page 151 in your packet. This is the second step in a two-step process. In early 2024 vector development, the property owner adjacent to Alm Way and Northwest 8th Street requested the city to vacate the existing right-of-way called Alm Way that is east of their triangular-shaped property. The first step was a right-of-way vacation, and that ordinance 1812 is attached to this packet. The second step is the city granting an access. The city is asking the developer to grant an access and sewer easement across the east half of that right-of-way, and also the city relinquishing their ownership in the right-of-way on the east side. So that's termed a quitclaim deed. And the developer has offered $338,000 for this segment of Alm Way. It will still be open to the public. It is a dead-end road that dead ends at Gardner Creek, and it will be used by Tanner Electric. They have a substation out there. I've had discussions with Tanner Electric about this, and they don't have concerns about it as long as they have 24/7 access. So it's requested by the developer. It brings some funding into the city that can be used to fund some of the needed infrastructure out there. We've talked about it at a committee last year, and this is just the final step of the process of the right-of-way vacation, which is the granting of the easement and the quitclaim deed. Happy to answer any questions. There are diagrams on page 160 of your packet that shows where the 30-foot wide easement corridor, and then page 164 shows the right-of-way vacation corridor.
Council, do you have any clarifying questions? Hearing none. Councilmember Colon, will you please make the motion?
Motion to approve AB 25-097, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an access and utility easement agreement and quitclaim deed related to the Alm Way Street vacation and accepting payment from 90 NB Investments LLC for $337,858.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Errol, motion by Ms. Councilmember Colon and second by Mr. Tremolata. Councilmember Colon, would you like to comment here? Motion.
We talked about this at length. I think it's an area of town that we're not using, we're not accessing, and it will help this developer do what they need to do in that neck of the woods.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tremolata, do you have a comment?
Yeah, sure. Just agree with Councilmember Colon. I think it's important for these type of things that are impactful to property owners to know that the city is willing to participate and engage when development makes sense. And I would support this and hope my fellow council members do as well.
Excellent. Anybody else on council wish to comment? Alan?
I say everything positive in there, and I just want to thank the gentleman for hanging out for the last 3 hours Our meetings aren't always this long, but thank you. And hopefully we'll get to the point. I do support this.
Great. Anybody else? Brendan?
Yeah, just really quick, I just extending gratitude that you hung out this long to make sure that the things go through. So appreciate your observance to that. Thank you.
Everyone look around. We're good. Good to go. Okay, the motion before us is to approve AB 25-9097, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an access and utility easement agreement and quitclaim deed related to Almway Street vacation and accepting payment for 90 NB Investments LLC for $337,858. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you again, too, Tyler. You hung in there beautifully. Okay, item number 15, AB 25098, resolution adopting shoreline public access and trail plan. Mr. McCarty, would you please provide that report for us tonight? And thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So after an extensive public process, the Shoreline Public Access and Trail Plan is before you tonight for approval. The overall purpose of this plan is to help them to implement the policies of the city's Shoreline Master Program and the Shoreline Management Act by promoting and planning for appropriate public access along the city's shorelines. Public access improvements are provided within the context of providing and protecting private property rights and enhancing the natural environment. We know that based on a lot of survey information, our public from North Bend really enjoy visiting our shorelines. And we want to make sure that we're providing safe and organized access points. The plan was developed using a consultant, Facet, with funds from a Washington State Department of Ecology grant. Efforts to develop this plan included a survey, an advisory group charrette, 2 open houses, Parks Commission review and recommendation, and working with our consultant to make revisions to the plan addressing that public input. As shown on page 212 of the council packet, 5 key potential improvement sites have been recommended, narrowed down from a much broader list of earlier alternatives. The project concepts are summarized with amenities and activity potential highlighted. I do want to note that no projects are proposed to move forward at this time. The recommendations of the plan are conceptual in nature. The plan could enable future grant funding down the road to further study these initial concepts. Funding and further analysis would be required to ensure feasibility for any future project proposals, which would require permitting and city council authorization. CED committee has reviewed the plan several times and provided excellent input, which the consultant has worked to work into the plan. So I'm happy to answer any additional questions that you might have.
Thank you, Mr. McCarty. Any questions or clarifying questions for Mr. McCarty from council? No. Councilmember Elwood, would you please make the motion?
Certainly, Your Honor. Motion to approve AB 25098, a resolution acknowledging completion of the Shoreline Public Access and Trail Plan and adopting the plan to guide future city planning and projects.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Elwood, and just ran right next to it is Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Jelson. Mr. Elwood, would you like to comment to your motion?
No, I think it's, as Mr. McCarty pointed out, this is a concept. But the other point that he pointed out that I think is a fair one is that this lays the groundwork for the future. Should we be in a financial situation or some other positive situation where we can actually start taking advantage of these concepts? Again, to any of the property owners that may feel impacted, we did the outreach here, of course. These are just concepts in nature. This is not a go forward plan. It's really just laying some good knowledge base, foundational knowledge base on options that we can consider in the future. It narrowed it down, as Mr. McCarty said, from a big scope down to some key areas that the community feels would be good to open up for the public. So I will be passing this, and I also want to appreciate staff. It's been a long journey. We've been round and round and round, and even the consultants taking every point that we've brought up in committee, really either discussing it with us, debating it with us, but also contemplating it and integrating some of our suggested changes back into the document. So I know it's been a long process, but I want to extend my appreciation for that and for the patience for that. So thank you.
Thank you, Brendan. Mr. Johnson, do you have a comment to make?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, this is really exciting. I want to, off the top, acknowledge Jamie Burrell, who shepherded this over my goodness, I don't know what period of time, but it's been a long one. But she, I think, was the lead. Isn't here this evening, but it wouldn't have gotten here. This wouldn't be for us tonight, absent her Herculean efforts. Mike mentioned 5 specific projects. There's also a 6th element, which is the levies. As a document, it's the most sort of comprehensive. Try to wrap your head around the levies in this town and their use and their not use and why they're differentiated or not, and so on and so forth. It's the most, again, sort of all in one place reference that I have yet read. It I don't want to use the word suffers, but it suffers a little bit because we're a city with an interesting geography, and we're surrounded by a park district, and the park district has a similar interest that I happen to be aware of, and has been working in a similar vein, particularly around trail connectivity and connection. And it lays the groundwork going forward to build green infrastructure and continue to offer, over time, provide access to our residents to those corridors and along those levees. And in my mind, that's just a huge deal, because as the report points out, by their design and nature, they so want to be trails. They just really do, And so then it's about working with landowners and moving forward over time to create, if not ownership easements, that promotes that sort of activity and makes this, yes, even a better place to live than it already is. So acknowledgement to staff, ongoing efforts. I think it's just, I'm looking forward to voting to approve this plan this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Any other comments? Oh, Errol?
Just want to applaud staff, Mike and Jamie, for sure, as well as my colleague, Councilmember Elwood, and the public who showed up in good numbers to discuss and challenge and raise points. I sat in many committee meetings with Councilmember Elwood, and he challenged a number of points. And I think that is a good example of a bit of the sausage making of local government. I mean, this is truly a plan, and we could have sort of mailed it in, right, and just said this is a plan for the future. Nobody's really obligated to it, but everybody involved really rolled up their sleeves and did some serious work and due diligence on this. And some of these projects are far down the road and will take years to happen. And I may not be on this council, and other folks may not be, but to know that the plan that is in place was done properly with good scrutiny and due diligence makes me feel good as just a resident of this town to know that the government is working on the things and the little things that will make a difference in the future. And a shoreline public access trail plan is unique to a river town. So I think it's pretty cool that we have the opportunity to do something like this and to have the community so engaged as they were. And like I said, Councilmember Elwood, just thank you for the work and thank you for the diligence on it.
Anybody else from council? Nope. Okay, the motion before us is to approve AB 25-098, a resolution acknowledging completion of the Shoreline Public Access and Trail Plan and adopting the plan to guide future city planning and projects. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously, and thank you one and all. Item number 16, AB 25-099, resolution setting public hearing regarding right-of-way vacation along Northwest 8th Street. Mr. Rigos, I look back to you to provide the staff report.
All right, thank you. Page 345 in your packet. This is the first step in a 2-step process, which is different than the last one, last agenda item. About a year ago, maybe less than a year ago, we received a petition from Panattoni about vacating right-of-way that's located south of Northwest 8th Street. There's a nice map on page 351 that shows this right-of-way. This right-of-way is currently not used by the city or the public in any way. There's a gravel driveway there, and there's some shrubs and pasture grasses. It's 1,100 feet long and 20 feet wide, and therefore not particularly very buildable once setbacks are applied. The area was appraised at $88,000, and that was provided to the city 6 to 9 months ago. Tonight's action is simply to set a public hearing date to vacate this right-of-way, and my thought had been to put this on the October 21st, 2025 City Council meeting. Today, I received a request to move this up to October 7th, 2021. That's only 3 weeks away. It's possible staff could be ready to provide that. We do need to post a signboard out there on site, and I would need to take this through Transportation and Public Works Committee, which we actually are meeting next week. So it is possible to do it on October 7th. So the motion could be changed. I'll kind of try not to surprise Kendra with this, but to see if she has any concerns about potentially moving that from October 21st through October 7th from a legal standpoint. And I just received this request today. Trying to see what else would be interesting in the staff report for you. This particular right-of-way vacation does not reserve an easement like the last one did. So there's no sewer easement or access easement. This property would be used to provide 3 warehouse buildings that are proposed by Panattoni on that project, consistent with the zoning. And like I said, this is just setting a public hearing date. Another option for the motion is we could possibly say either October 7th or October 21st in the motion. So that gives us the option to choose either one. So, and that's, unless Kendra, do you have any input?
Mayor, if I just might respond to the question about timing. For a right-of-way vacation, that's governed by Chapter 3579 RCW. So if you saw me looking it up, I just wanted to make sure my citation was correct. The city is required to pass a resolution to schedule the public hearing. That's what we have in front of you this evening. The public hearing shall be held no sooner than 20 days, nor later than 60 days from the date of passage of this resolution. I went to law school because I am not a math person. So as long as October 7th falls within that time frame, I would not have a legal objection to holding the public hearing then. I don't believe you are being asked to, so in the motion, you would have to change the date that has been scripted in the motion. So
That's correct. Yeah, 21 days. I went to engineering school, so 3 weeks. So we're good.
I'm so happy to hear that. Okay, so we're good. So the 7th is the date. Okay. All right. Any other does council have any questions for Mark? Clarify.
Sorry, the description, and I know this is to open it for public hearing, but just for clarity, the description talks about the plan for 3 warehouses, but the diagram shows 2. So can you clarify what the plans are for this property?
Yeah, I'm not sure which diagram you're referring to unless it's in the packet, but I'm 100. Oh, okay. So I do see that on page 355. It just does not show the other building. But there is a 3rd building in this project that's just not shown on page 355. And on page 355, you can see the yellow hatched corridor of where that right-of-way currently is. North actually faces the opposite direction than normal. So 8th Street's on the bottom, and the developer needs this right-of-way in order to place their buildings where they want to place the buildings. So to answer your question, that 3rd building is not shown on that map, but it is proposed.
So does the 3rd warehouse sit south of what's represented in the diagram? All the buildings are south of 8th Street?
They're correct. They're all south of 8th Street, and there is a 3rd building that is accessed from a proposed bridge over Gardner Creek. And if you look at the top portion of page 355, you'll see kind of an amoeba-shaped circle, which is a storm drainage pond. To the left of that is a driveway, and that will cross with a bridge that accesses their 3rd building. It's just not shown on that map.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Oh, Alan.
Well, you made a comment, and I'm not sure if you told, what is the big reason of moving it from the 7th to the 21st? I mean, it seems like we're pushing something that should be giving plenty of public notice. So I'm kind of concerned as to what the reasons are.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I wasn't given the reason why, but that was just a request made from the developer to move that from October 21st to October 7th. If we keep it October 21st, it's fine with me. I just wasn't made. They just said we'd prefer to move it up to October 7th.
I just think we're pushing something quicker than we should, and unless there's a specific reason, I would not vote to move it to October 7th.
I would move. Anybody else wish to comment? Okay. So is this on me to change that date?
No, we just go with the original.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Original motion.
That's it.
Well, the motion is yet to be made, Your Honor.
Done that. So I need to get a feeling.
You allow me to
where-
read the motion?
I'd like to get a feeling where it is at.
I would, in an effort to be helpful to someone who wants to build a building in our city and is going to spend a lot of money here, if for whatever reason they need to up it, it's within the purview of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I would go ahead and be amenable to having it be October 7th.
Mayor, if I can chime in, we should open the floor with the motion. So if we can move to that first and then we can debate and then.
State
have
the
a first-
motion.
Yep.
You got it.
We can
Thank-
carry. If not, then we'll move on to the.
Thank you for keeping
Amendment.
me in line. The motion for us is to approve AB.
No.
Oh, sorry. Where am I?
You would generally recognize the Chair of Transportation and
Where
Public
is
Works
that?
to make the motion at this point, I believe.
Chair, okay,
Page 9,
where am I? I'm off. Ms. Councilman.
Councilmember Colon.
Motion to approve AB 25-099, a resolution initiating vacation process for a portion of city right-of-way located along Northwest 8th Street and setting a public hearing date of October 21st, 2025.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alan. Motion made by Mrs. Councilmember Colon and second by Mr. Gottel. And I apologize, I'm a little bit tired. I'm sure you are too. Okay, Ms. Colon, would you like to comment to your motion? Thank you.
Your Honor, I'd like to offer an amendment that the public hearing date be changed to October 7th, 2025.
Second.
Oh, thank you. Motion made by by Mayor Pro Tem and second by Susan down there. Okay. Let's do that.
So speaking to the amendment, we all know what's on the table. It's a simple up and down. This way we get to at least have a conversation and vote on it. I'm supportive of the statements made by Councilmember Torgerson to simply be supported. I don't see a different future for this property. This is something council's been working towards. If it facilitates us as a council moving in the direction that we've been advocating for, I'm supportive of that. Thank you.
Susan.
I'll just reiterate that we want to be supportive of developers in our community. And it's within the purview of 3 weeks, so we're good there. And if they need to move up their dates because they want to move the project forward, I'm just guessing, then I want to be supportive of that.
I think somehow I missed you, Mr. Gottel, so my apologies.
I understand the need for moving forward, but I'm also very concerned with giving the public and not pushing things along this quickly. I understand it. If there was a specific reason for it, I would get it. But I don't understand why we're moving forward in any public hearing and not giving enough notice and just going under the minimum. I will not support the motion to October 7th. Thank you.
Ms. Rustic.
Yeah, I echo Councilmember Gottheld's comments because I think this property, while it is not significant to the city of North Bend, what gets built there can be significant and have an impact on the city of North Bend and our quality of life. And I would like to have the public have time to comment on it.
Anybody else? Errol.
Can I ask actually a question? What was staff's position on the 21st date? Like, why was the 21st assigned? Was it just to give staff time?
It was just making sure there was a safety factor for my staff for getting the signboard out there. Just as Chris said, plenty of time. That's 5 weeks from today. 3 weeks is getting a little tight. Yes, we are over the 20 days, but
So it wasn't the project led, it was.
no, it was just me saying, hey, let's just make it 5 weeks. It's ample time for people to comment. And the request came in today after they saw the packet and said, hey, can we move this up to October 7th? And I'm kind of like, well, yeah, it meets the 20-day threshold, but so.
Got it.
Okay, any other council members have any comments? Brendan?
Can you clarify that? Sorry, fuzzy head. Can you clarify the 20-day thing again?
That's RCW.
Yeah, it's a minimum of 20 days after you announce a public hearing
Okay.
that you can have the public hearing. It's, I think, between 20 and 60 days. Kendra probably knows the RCW better than me.
So we're 21 days out.
Yeah.
According to your engineering math,
Yes.
right? So we announced the public hearing today, then we have the public hearing on October 7th, right? And then we vote on it after that public hearing closes on October 7th.
Correct.
And the developer saw that there was a change, and the date that you had put out was just because of bandwidth and staff time to make sure that you guys were prepared. All I's were dotted, all T's are crossed, nothing can come back, right? Because I do agree with my colleagues on both sides of this particular issue. Sometimes when, let's speed up, and then there's something that we may miss, right? And even though in this particular one, it's highly unlikely, in my opinion, that there's nothing that, there's probably nothing that we've missed because we've talked about it. But I want to be respectful of staff time, and your good judgment was to say, let's move it out to make sure that everything's covered. So in that particular regard, I do want to support your decision for that, as opposed to responding arbitrarily to just a random email with no context.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Councilmember Elwood, I will say for the public that Councilmember Rustick's point that the wording is not matching the pictures, that will need to be updated, and we'll bring that forward with the public hearing packet. So I just want to make that announcement out to the public that what's shown in the packet needs to match the wording that's with it. Even though that we know it's there, it needs to match for the packet.
So, sorry, like the staff, Mark, do you have any issue with the motion on the floor for the 7th?
I just want to be sensitive to staff's time, including Kendra, including Carrie, Tom, other folks that are involved in preparing an ordinance, agenda bill. It goes to committee. Amber needs to review it. It's just, and then as we know, I'm heading out the door.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's just kind of rushing things. Is it possible? Yeah, we can do it, but it just kind of rushes things. So, but I just wanted to float that out to you that I received that. So
the only other thing I'll say to your point is, yes, we would vote after the public hearing is closed, but we also have the ability to put a motion on the floor to push the vote if we feel like something that we heard or we want more time, right? We do have those levers available to us.
Anybody else? I think we got everybody. Okay.
So right now, the motion on the floor is.
20.
The action that we need to take as a council is to vote on the amendment to change the date from the 21st to the 7th. That's an up or down vote. We will then take up the main motion.
Okay. Ready to rock and roll on that? Okay, motion for us is not the one that we're going to read in a few minutes, but it's going to be the amendment to the date from October 21st. I think someone said the 24th. I'm not sure if that was the case, but it's 21st, 2025, amending it to October 7th, 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
That's it. All opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Motion does fail. Going forward, let's get back to the main motion. The motion before us is to approve AB 25-099, resolution initiating vacation process for the portion of the city right-of-way located along Northwest 8th Street and setting a public hearing date of October 21st, 2025. Did I get that right? 20? Yeah. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. It does pass unanimously 6-1. Okay, item 17, AB 25-011 or 0100. Excuse me. Motion authorizing Public Works Director employment contract. Ms. Emery, will you please provide the staff report for us tonight? And thank you.
Absolutely. I'm honored to bring this agenda bill forward to council this evening to authorize the mayor to execute, administer an employment agreement for Tom Moore We listed in depth today the projects that Mr. Rigos has contributed to the city, and his partner through that has been Tom Moore through this time in our agency. And I couldn't be prouder that Tom is willing to accept that role and move up to director of our esteemed Public Works team. Tom has expansive public and private sector knowledge, and what he brings and the time that he's spent here at North Bend is just going to strengthen our team even further. So I look forward to this. This was brought forward to touch with council on September 9th on the Finance and Administration Committee. The committee recommended approval and placement on the main agenda for discussion at our meeting tonight. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Council, do you have any clarifying questions? Yep. No? Okay, Councilmember Gottoff, will you please make the motion?
I would love to. Motion to approve AB 25-100, authorizing the mayor to execute an employment agreement for the Director of Public Works in a form and content approved by the city attorney.
Excellent. Do we have a second? Thank you. Motion made by Mr. Gottoff and seconded by Brennan Elwood. All in favor? Oh, sorry. Just seeing if everybody's awake, because I'm certainly slipping off the rails here. Pardon me. Oh, man. Okay, Mr. Gottoff, would you like to comment to your wonderful motion?
Yes, thank you. First off, I know we're going to miss Mr. Rigos, but I cannot be more pleased that Tom Moore has taken this position. I've worked with him for many years. He's been a steadfast employee. He's been basically Mark's, side hand throughout the time, and I think he's going to make a good one. And one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure this wasn't on the consent agenda is because I think we need to celebrate Tom Moore and his promotion to this position. So I am looking forward to approving this motion. Thank you.
Fantastic. And I forgot who did the second already.
Councilmember
Brandon, sorry about that. What would you like to say, Brendan?
I'll be succinct. I agree with everything that my colleague said. Congratulations. I'm really looking forward to where you take us into the future. You have, at least all the colleagues I've talked to, are complete trust and respect and confidence that you will be able to succeed in your role. So well done, and look forward to working with you. Congratulations.
Any other additional council members wish to make a comment? Susan?
Yeah, I want to concur with both of my colleagues. I'm excited that you're going to be our new Public Works Director. I actually don't think anybody else could fill, Mark's shoes. So congratulations and welcome aboard.
Anybody else?
I'm very pleased that you signed on for this position. And my only question is, are they going to make you switch offices?
Let's see.
We're waiting for that answer. Anybody else? No? Okay, motion before us is to approve AB 25-100, authorizing the mayor to execute and administer an employment agreement for the Director of Public Works in a form and content approved by the city attorney. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, one and all. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Tom. We love that you're on board. Appreciate you. Okay, item number 18, AB 25-101, ordinance adopting NBMC 6.12.035 regarding cleanup of horses. Oh my gosh, what a way to get out of the ring, so to speak. Mr. Rigos, take this away. I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, this might be the most simple agenda bill I've ever spoken to. I hope I just didn't jinx it. So we're just a small section we're adding to North Bend Municipal Code about horse manure cleanup. So for those horses that ride in our events and parades, that now we have something on the books that says there's somebody needs to be behind that person helping clean up so it doesn't make a mess of our city streets for the rest of the day. So we did take this to TPW committee a month or two ago, and there was support for this. And I think there was reason to put this on the main agenda. I can't remember exactly why, but that concludes the staff report. Staff support this.
Wonderful. Anybody have any comments to add? You have a question? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Take it away. I can't wait.
Is it legal to ride horses down the city street, and how are we going to enforce this?
It is legal to ride horses down city streets. But if they're attended as legal to ride, but there needs to be somebody behind them cleaning up the manure on the backside. So we have a section on 6.12.020, riding horses on pedestrian way prohibited. Let's see. Yeah, I did jinx it. Yeah, I did jinx it. So I'm wondering why this. I don't have an answer for you, Chris. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh,
If I can. So the answer is yes, under 612.030 that you are allowed to ride a horse on the street. There are speed regulations. I would defer further questions to our fine police chief, though. Feel free to grill him on chapter 612.
Thank you for the assist.
Anybody else, Ms. Cohen? Oh, wait. I think it was Heather. I think it was Heather first.
I just, in the motion, it says other beasts of burden, and I don't know what that means.
It's a Rolling Stones song.
Zebras.
Well, I'm sure there's a legal terminology for what a beast of burden is.
I think that could be a cow, that could be a zebra, that could be a horse, that could be
Donkey?
a donkey, mule.
How can we add an goat in there?
If it's a beast doing some type of burden, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Dragging someone on its little, I don't know, sled. Brennan.
I had this, when I first saw this, I thought this should be an April Fools agenda. And now we're getting down a weird punchy path of questions, but I do have a funky question, which may be grounded in some reality. At one point in time, I believe that livestock type animals and their waste within whatever city limits was not banned because it was considered of organic matter, whereas dog feces, cat feces, it's more of a processed engineering food. This is what I was told when I first moved to North Bend, asking, like the house that I bought, it was a beautiful neighborhood. Oh, there's horses walking around. I get to the top of my driveway and I'm welcomed with some pies. And I tracked down the horse. I said, hey, love your horse. You know, I'm glad to be in the neighborhood, but what can you pick up your horse's left behinds at the top of my driveway? No, I don't have to do that because according to Department of Ecology and all this other stuff. And I was like, okay, it sounded like a reasonable thing. I looked it up and sure enough, there was no horse manure regulations because it was a different kind of substrate. Is there any validity to any of this in any investigation that you guys may have done that maybe perhaps we are?
It would have been a great question to research at committee. So I can't answer that on the fly. I do have the definition of beast of burden here. Thank you.
Let's change the subject.
An animal such as a mule or donkey that is used for carrying loads.
Yeah, that's the word.
Donkeys still serve as beasts of burden in the Middle East and other parts of the world. So there's the definition. I don't have an answer to your previous question about.
I didn't expect it, but you know, it's almost 11 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah.
I hope not. Okay, anybody else? Alan?
I know, and this is not a way for you to go out, my friend. But my concern with this is we're saying somebody's got to be behind them. Now, I know for a fact, I know people that do ride the horses into the city. Are they now going to be required to have some follow them behind? I mean, I could see us putting that they need to clean it up, but are we making it so somebody has to follow them down the line, you know, into the city to clean up as it's happening?
Only if they're on an electric scooter.
Yes.
We are getting punchy. So I am concerned that
the way it
practicality.
the way it reads, it shall be attended by a person equipped to safely and effectively remove, clean up, and dispose of any manure. So, I think it'd be kind of hard to ride a horse and also be cleaning it up.
Well, I think if they're riding the horse and the horse goes, they should pull over and pick it up themselves. Requiring them to have a person, to me, seems to be onerous and kind of will defeat the purpose of them wanting to ride the horse. And we are in a rural community.
Your Honor, can I ask a question on this?
Sure can, Brennan.
So what I've observed in area, I want to say Chicago, other areas where they have big events, there are diaper bags for some of these horses. Some of them have people walking by with shovels, but if the law will be interpreted that there has to be a second individual trailing a horse to pick up waste, that in itself seems like a beast of burden to our residents.
Well, while I would
I don't know
continue to
how-
love this conversation, can I make a motion that we remand this back for further study before we get down in a manure area we don't want to get?
We don't want to, we want to send it out to pasture for a bit, right?
Thank you. So can I put I don't know if it's ask
in the
that it be
discussion.
tabled and further investigated and brought back to a committee.
Second.
Yep. What, Mark, want to say something?
Yeah, I'll move that it be that this agenda bill be postponed until the second regular council meeting in October. I'm sorry, but clarifying question. What committee did this come through?
TPW.
I'm going to move that this be postponed until the first regular meeting in November.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Wait a minute.
Yep,
Okay.
there you go.
Okay, that was Alan. Okay, thank you. I can't even hold it together anymore, but I'm trying, maybe. Okay, Mark. Would you like to, okay, so would you like to speak?
Well, the only thing that's debatable at the moment is whether or not we want to postpone it to a date certain, which is debatable, and I have no comment on that. I think we just vote it and see what happens.
Did we actually make a motion on this?
No.
Yes.
No.
It's on the floor? Okay, thank you.
Well, that is a good point. There isn't a motion that's been moved before. So, right, but I can still move to postpone this agenda bill to a date certain, and that's the motion before us.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to rally to create a motion on this one. Okay, so the motion for us is to approve AB.
No.
Oops, sorry.
Postpone this agenda bill.
Excuse me. I knew that. I just said something different. Imagine that. Motion is to postpone AB 25-101, an ordinance adopting MBMC section 6.12.035 relating to cleanup of horses, ponies, burros, mules, and other beasts of burden in the city right of way and parks, to be postponed to October 7th.
No, November.
First meeting in November, excuse me. To a first meeting in November. You want to get a date on that? I have it in front of me. Is that?
November 4th.
November 4th, November 4th, for clarification, 2025, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's a full-on, motion passes unanimously. Thank you again. This was exciting.
Call it the Regos
Okay.
statute.
Did we get clarity on that? Okay, what a moving evening on so many levels. Let's go on to Mayor, Council, Administrative Concerns and Initiatives. Let's start with Brendan. Take it away.
Wow. That one was for the books. I feel like maybe somebody has spiked the drinking water in the building at this point, but
No.
I don't really have anything other than thank you to everybody who's sitting here and apologize that we're cracking up and having this fun. I know you guys have worked hard and we're wasting your time, but do appreciate all the commitment to what you've contributed. This was a healthy agenda today, maybe too healthy, but there was a lot of good presentations and a lot of public presentations. You know, a lot of people showed up in the audience. Not really sure we were able to get to a lot of folks or for what their purposes were here, but I do want to acknowledge that they were here and they stuck around for as long as they can. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate all the hard work that everybody's doing on this particular point. And I'm glad that we're putting a pin in the interlocal agreement. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Susan, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I'm glad we're putting a pin in the interlocal agreement as well. I know we're all super tired, so I'm going to keep it short. The one thing I wanted to bring up was the train museum in October. They're going to have some Halloween trains, and on Friday, October 31st, they're having a Snoqualmie Valley wine train. So if that's interest to you, you should go because I think it'll be fun. That's it.
Great. Heather, any comments?
Nothing tonight.
Great. Errol.
6 weeks till general election. Register to vote if you have not. You have plenty of time. It's important. Thank you.
Wonderful. Mayor Pro Tem.
Right, just acknowledging the process and this, enjoying this time together. I'm sorry it's gone on so long. Just looking down this row of folks here, we're going to miss Mark incredibly. The rest of you, I just take my hat off to your ongoing commitment, effort, and to you all make the city better. And I appreciate you. Thanks.
Thank you. Christina.
Thank you. So this Saturday is the Apple Cup, and out in the hall there, we're still collecting food for the food drive. So bring your donation items and put them in the box, either the Huskies or the Cougars. It looks pretty even now, but I will count them after Saturday. So appreciate everybody who has donated. And yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. Alan.
Yeah, I too am happy that we came to some conclusion on the interlocal agreement. It is my hope that this series of events can be moved on and we can find a way to work together and not see this, have people learn how to partner together than what we saw. Mark, sorry to end your one item thinking it was going to be quick, but thank you for your time and effort. Tom, welcome to the new position and congratulations.
All right, Amber.
In the spirit of celebration, because Don DeBerg is also in the room tonight. So Don has accepted the Deputy Public Works Director role and is going to be stepping into that position. So just want to acknowledge him and the strength of our team. Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, how do I follow claps and all this excitement? Here I go. Join me to meet me with the mayor's series. Where residents are invited to stop, chat, and about city-related questions that are important, and just to connect. So I'll be at Arret Coffee tomorrow morning. It's the original Arret, which is by Prosky. The other Arret right down across the street had a ribbon cutting recently, and it's a fabulous place to go to too. But tomorrow, come there. Citywide, Valleywide, Volunteer Day is on Saturday, October 4th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's a day to roll up your sleeves, bring your family, and love where you live in action. Sign up for a spot for various volunteer opportunities on Love Snoqualmie Valley website. The North Bend Blues Walk is back in town Saturday, October 4th from 6 p.m. to midnight. The festival will feature 22 bands and more than 80 musicians throughout 18 downtown North Bend venues. To find out more about the Blues Walk, including how to purchase tickets, please visit the community calendar on the city website. Council members, September 23rd, work study next week will start at 6 p.m. and dinner will be provided. Thank you one and all who came here tonight and spoke to us and presented obviously online and in front of us. All you hardworking council members and my incredible staff, you're amazing. So thank you and have a great night. I ask for an adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Thank you one and all. We are adjourned.